Welcome, 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 welcome to Liberal 12th Man Show. I'm Liberal 12th Man, and we are going to be firing up the Liver Bird and flying high to go off of this 6-1 victory and the advancement of Liverpool into the quarterfinals of the Europa League. I am very, very happy to have my co-pilot today, Brian, here with me. How are you doing, Brian?
Very well. I hope you're well too.
Yeah, making out as always. Doing the best we can. That's all we can ask for, right? And I hope that you are doing the same in the chat. And if you're watching this on the replay or you're watching this, at any time of your convenience, I hope that you're doing well with your lives, and that if it's not, that it gets better for you. As always, I would definitely hope, and I would say, hey, you know what? If you haven't watched the game, give it a little ponder. It was definitely a nice little ensemble of goals. I mean, very first, I'd say 15 minutes was it, Brian? Around 15, first 10 to 15 minutes. We started just rifling off goals left and right.
Yeah, there was 4 and 7 minutes by the 20th minute, I think.
Yeah,
pretty
that's
crazy.
that's pretty incredible.
Oh, a couple
That
of
was pretty
people kind of
incredible.
got in a little late and missed 2 goals.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, I know a couple of people. I saw them in chats that kind of, I get a bit of food, and they missed the first maybe 10 minutes of it at most, and they came in, they're already 2 down, and then quickly
Right,
another 2 goals thrown in. It's like, whoa, holy hell! But it
right.
was a madness. Yeah, for 10 minutes, it was absolute madness.
Absolute madness, to say the least. I mean, it was. I know that now that I've done a couple of watch alongs with you and like the other guys, Chris and everything. You know, we've done a watch along. First watch along, I think we did. They scored 5 goals. Then
Yeah,
second watch along, they scored 6 goals. I don't know.
let's
I'm
keep the
I'm
phone
I'm
going.
wondering if we should do a watch along for the Man United and get our 7 up. We can get our 7 up maybe.
Don't mess with a winning thing. So yeah,
Yeah,
let's keep
yeah,
going. Well,
exactly.
let's keep the train rolling while we're winning. We'll keep going. Cup
Yeah,
games.
definitely, definitely. It was interesting because I've said it time and time again. It's an interesting question of when we have these really big games or big wins, I should say, and they're not necessarily big games. I mean, as in we were already up 4 goals in aggregate. It was pretty much assured. I mean, even Klopp mentioned it in the presser. He said something like, he it's unlikely that they're going to be able to that we're going to give up 5 goals and have a 5 goal difference that sends us out of this competition. But it also gives the mind of saying well, how engaged are you when in all of these games? All these games are going to be somewhat very important games in one way or another. So it's kind of interesting to see um, how it's going to be a long haul for all of us as the players, obviously the coaching staff, but even the fans as well. It's not going to be an easy run going all the way to the end of this run, because we certainly are going to have to deal with the bridling our enthusiasm so that we can have a little bit left in the tank for some of these games that are going to push us to the edge.
Well, it's a challenge in its own sort of particular little challenge going into a game 4-0 up, because you kind of have to say, do you have to kind of forget the fact you're 4-0 up and go out and play the game as it is in front of you. So it's to
Mm-hmm.
have the right amount of eagerness and energy, but not overexert yourself. But we did a brilliant
Yeah.
job of it last night. It's not that they wouldn't be motivated, but Klopp is right. It's like, look, yeah, we're probably not going to lose 5-0, but if you
Yeah.
go out and play like total zombies, then you never know. You might, it's just not going to
Mm-hmm.
happen. But you still have to go out there and do the job. So it's about having the right kind of energy and enthusiasm for that game. But it shouldn't be too difficult to get yourself into a mindset of going and just getting this job done and giving the fans something to cheer about. But as you know, it doesn't really matter kind of what's going on to a degree in your life or what, but like if you're on a field and the match kicks off, you're in a match. That's all you're going to think. You're going to play that game. It's hard not,
Right.
once the game
Right.
kicks off, that's all you're doing. Oh, there's a game to be played now. Let's go score some goals.
Right.
But it
Right.
like we were both really amazed. I think everybody was amazed just how strong the team was.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
lineup was very surprising to
Yeah.
a lot of people, me included. I was not expecting to see that lineup from the very beginning. I know primarily because I had suggested that kind of lineup before, and he didn't go with it. Now, albeit I'm not getting privy to all of the medical assistance that he does in evaluating players, and I'm not on the training pitch obviously during practice. So I understand those concepts of like, yeah, he's going to get a good gauge of where and when he can play these players, but yeah, I tend to think of players that I would like to prefer to see them, like Salah getting involved in the start of the game as opposed to coming into the game as a sub. But he even made a comment in the presser about that as well. He said, when Bobby got, and we mentioned this when we were doing the watch along, when Bobby got hurt, or when Bobby got taken out, it was because when Bobby Clark got taken out, it was because he just picked up a little bit of a knock, and they just want with our injury record and everything else, we're not trying to take any chances. So that's why we had to make the sub the way that we had to make the exchange of subs the way we had to do it, and then we couldn't take Salah out because that was our last sub. And what was very interesting is Klopp said to Salah, he's like, all right, you don't have to track back. You don't have to play defense.
Yeah.
He said it literally. He's like, you don't have to play defense. He's like, that's not going to be the case for Manchester United. But for this game, he said, Salah, you don't have to worry about tracking back and doing all the extras and everything else. And you mentioned it too. You mentioned how like it seemed like he was kind of like, downshifting, in gears just to kind of like make sure that he doesn't, press or push too much.
Yeah, he kind of told him take that last half hour off there. I can't bring you out, but basically just coast it. Yeah, that at that stage, what were we, eight clear? We must have been nearly 7. We were definitely 6 or 7 goals clear at that stage. So yeah, just kind of hang around up front, and if something comes to you, it was a nice position to be able to be in because yeah, as he said, that was just one sub that he was hoping to make, but
right.
You can't. And yeah, he said like making a point there as well, not just to Salah but to everybody else. That will not be the case on Sunday.
Yeah. Because not very often do you hear a coach say, "Nah, you don't have to worry about playing defense." Not don't worry about pressing and all that extra stuff and tracking back. Yeah, that was pretty funny to hear him say that.
Yeah, and I like when stuff like that happens because it kind of opens up people's eyes to sometimes that football really isn't as complicated as we like to try and make it something, or want to make it, or think of it. Like sometimes it's just as simple as like, oh, the manager told him just, hey, chill, no, don't run. It's sometimes like, and Klopp is always at pains to point that out sometimes, that it was just, no, you're overthinking it. Like guys in press conferences, did you do this because of this, and this? He's like, no, he was at a wedding last week. What are you talking about? It was just, no, it's just, do you not know? He was tired. Look, or it was this, it was that. It wasn't for this super duper tactical reason. It's just like, no, look, we just told him to just chill and not run back.
Yep.
A really nice, luxurious position to be able to be in, be able to do that. But again, just I would say, fair play to Sparta Prague for not really resort to any kind of retribution type calls or dark arts or a few dirty little elbow because they're humiliated at Anfield. It was like, no, they stood up well and scored a goal. So that guy got to score a goal at Anfield. Not many people that ever played for Sparta Prague can say I scored a goal at Anfield, a proper game. Don't ask me about the aggregate score. Yeah, don't ask me about the aggregate score, by the way. When you're telling the grandchildren, don't tell them the aggregate score, just tell them you scored at Anfield.
Just tell me you scored it.
Yeah, don't mention the 11-2. Don't mention that.
Yeah, yeah, because I mean, you're right about that. It was certainly like at the time that, and albeit, when we started seeing those goals rifle off the way that they were rifling off, I mean, like again, let me see if I can get the details for when the goals were actually scored. Because let's see, the first goal was scored in the 7th minute, the second goal was scored in the 8th minute, the third goal was scored in the 10th minute, the fourth goal was scored in the 14th minute. I mean, just as you said, I mean, once Darwin scored the way he did, I was like, okay. But then when Bobby Clark scored, I was like, uh-oh. And then when Salah scored, I was like, this isn't looking good. Because I mean, that was within 3 minutes of scuffing. It was so bad that the game, at least the stream I was watching, they were still in the replay. They were still showing the replay from the previous goal.
On the Clark goal.
Yeah. And then they came back, and I was like, "What's going on?" Like, like
it was
they were like celebrating something again, and I'm like, "Did I just miss the goal?" Yeah.
Yeah, that one that's like it's 7 minutes and 8 minutes. Like, yeah, we scored, and we then scored like almost. Well, they would have had the kickoff, but directly, yeah, my TV only caught up. Bobby Clark was probably about a half a second away from shooting it.
Yeah,
Was when it went back to the live feed and the ball went in, and I was like, "Hang on a minute, what am I watching here? Is this
exactly?"
what's
I
this
was
happening?"
confused. I didn't know what was going on for a second. Yeah, yeah, and I was just like, "What's going on?" Well, it was pretty much like a lot of good games that day too. A lot of good games. Like I know we were giving the updates during the games. We're giving some of our preferred choices for next round competition. And we also got to see who our next round is going to, our next competitor or opposition is going to be in the next round. And it's funny, I have to show you because like you're making fun of our pronunciations. I guess you got to make fun of Jurgen Klopp said this, got tricked, or not tricked, but fell into the same bag in the press conference by the way he pronounced the name of our next opponent. But all the same, we're going to be taking on the Italian team that is going to be definitely a reprise because we've already faced them in the Champions League. In the previous Champions League, we faced them before. We have some concept and idea of what they'll be bringing to the fold. We also know that the team that we're going to be facing is fifth in the Italian league right now. So and I wouldn't say it's a strong year for Italy right now with a lot of their teams. And what I mean by that is that Inter just got knocked out of the Champions League, for instance. And Inter's certainly one of the strongest teams in the Italian league right now. But are you happy with it? I saw Dustin said he couldn't be happier with a better draw. And in the chat, tell me if you're happy as well. But are you happy with the draw that we got, Brian?
I think they're right in the middle. As I was saying to you earlier on before we came on, I think they're not the worst draw, and they're not the best draw. I think maybe, as I said last night, West Ham at home and away would be an absolute walkover. West Ham over 2 legs. But I don't know a huge amount about this Atalanta team.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think they're right in the middle. They're definitely not the worst draw, but everyone over 2 legs in this competition is beatable by us. Especially someone in that middle section. I'd expect a tough game over there, without doubt. But the Italian teams don't travel brilliantly the last few years.
They don't.
It's. I'm not trying to. I'm being a bit kind of boring about it, but yeah, they're just kind of right in the middle. They're not. Yeah, they're not a top team. They're not a bottom team, but it should be kind of game you have to take really seriously going over there because just kind of get it done over there. Are we home or away first? We're away first.
Well, that's a good question. Let me find that out. Actually, I'll find that out for you right now.
I think I remember someone saying have the second leg at home.
Yeah, we have this. No, wait. So
No,
I don't think so. Hold on, let me double check. From
no,
what
we're
I'm
home
seeing
first.
right now, we're home first. Yeah, we're home
Yeah,
first. Yeah,
well,
Dustin just said it too. Yeah, we're home first.
not ideal.
Yeah, we're home first, which means that we could easily. I mean, I prefer to be. I prefer to have the home game second in pretty much every
Absolutely,
in every competition. That way,
always.
yeah, what what you have to do in front of your home fans. It's a little bit easier. Plus, you can kind of get the away fixture out of the way. You know, Honesty is saying Atalanta. Atalanta. Uh, it was good in 2021 season, but they are so mid. I don't fear them, or he doesn't fear them. We will smoke them. They are the Italian version of Bournemouth. They are or that good. They are or at that good. So okay, all right.
Yeah, with
Hey,
the
Bournemouth's a good team. Bournemouth, but I mean, like, it's not somewhat. Bournemouth's not a team that you're like that you're circling on your calendar as the team you have to watch out for. So I can understand that part and point.
yeah with the home and away, like when you've got a home advantage in the second leg. The thing for me is the way I always look at it is if it's a new team or if it's a different competition or if it's whatever. If you for some reason you don't have a great game in that first game, or
Mm-hmm.
you just it doesn't work out for you, you have a chance then at home to fix it. When you're going away second, like if you're a bad game, if you don't click in the first game because those guys have some funky tactics, not quite
Yeah.
used to it, or they shape up differently, and it just doesn't work out that night, and you end up with a 0-0. Then you're like, oh shit, or
Mhm.
1-1 is crap, we got to go there now. You'd like to be able to have like kind of get a feel for them away from
Mhm.
home first.
Mhm.
So even if it doesn't go entirely your way and you lose 1-0, you're still bringing
Yeah.
them to Anfield.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Makes a
so
difference. It makes a difference.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just that. But look, you can't help that now. The way to look at it now is get them right under the microscope, know exactly what
Mm-hmm.
they're going to be doing, and which I'm sure they would have obviously. But no, we haven't here. We're talking about Ireland. They beat us at Anfield. So it's like
Yeah, I see
you
that.
know
I
it,
saw that.
it's you got to go and try and win that game now, almost at home. You not win it at home,
Mm-hmm.
but give yourself a 2-goal cushion. Would ideally, without wishing for a 4-0, without being kind of over optimistic. The ideal thing now that we are at home first, would be to give ourselves a 2-goal cushion at Anfield to then be able to go
Mm-hmm.
there and feel our way into that game. But going there and needing something, it's never ideal, to be going away because they like the boys are saying that I would have rated them. I don't know. You were kind of saying Bournemouth are good, but and they are, but I would have said Atlanta are better than Bournemouth. You know,
Yeah.
I would have
Yeah.
thought that,
We have some. I
especially
mean, yeah. I mean, like, you got to also consider. Can I finish your
in
point?
European competition though. But it's sorry, yeah, in European competition.
Mm-hmm.
Bournemouth are good in England and all that, but there's a way of playing in Europe as well.
It's different.
They're
Yeah.
playing foreign
There's a
teams.
difference in
Yeah,
playing in Europe than it is playing in England. I'll
exactly,
agree with that completely.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're coming up
And
against
and
different
there's a
styles.
difference even. I was gonna say
Travel.
there's a difference even. I gotta say your point again.
Oh, sorry, I was just finished and just yeah, and just traveling. Like it's different. Yeah, Atalanta have a bit of pedigree there. If you're asking me if we're doing a random tier there, I'd be putting
Mm-hmm.
Atalanta in the group of clubs that's better than Bournemouth. So
Okay. Oh, I get what you're saying. I get what you're going with. Yeah, I was gonna bring up the fact of, like, we yeah, we've had before that was what, 2000, 2015, 2030. Okay, so, like, basically I'm looking at the last time we played them. Like, Hyler brought up, he said Atlanta have been good for years, good structure there, And I mean, like, look, Klopp did mention the fact that they're a good structured team, difficult opponents. Every opponent that we're going to be facing is going to be a difficult. There's a reason why they're this late in the stages, like no team makes it this deep into these competitions and not be somewhat of a good team or a formidable enough team to bring about some type of problems for your teams that you have to face. But because I know I saw one way over the top Liverpool fan on, I think it was Talk Sport or something like that, basically saying that they should just hand us the trophy now and get it over with so we can move on. Let's not get crazy, guys. Let's not. That's almost asking for karma to bite you in the butt. But like Hylar says, that last time we played Atalanta in the Champions League, they beat us at Anfield. Have you forgotten that? And then honestly says, people forget. By then, we will have most everyone back and look at how Klopp is taking this competition, which he's taking it obviously very serious with the lineup that he brought up. And why I was bringing it up is that, yes, I know that we did lose to this team 2-0 at home, but yet we also went to their pitch and won. And this was earlier. We won by 5 goals. We won 5-0. So, like it is what it is.
The market was far from lethal.
I expect a good competition, or I expect a good game, a fiery match. But I also expect us to get through that match as well. All respect due.
All respect. But also, honestly saying, don't forget, we'll have all our players back. But I mean, don't forget. Without wanting to, don't forget, players can get injured. So
yeah, no doubt. And on top of that, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's an assumption. Yeah, I don't like to assume. Yeah, because we got some good news today in terms of David Lynch I thought David Lynch put up a video there. It was like, wow, brilliant, amazing news, and I was like, oh, cool, this sounds good. And then
it wasn't that. It was kind of tempered.
It basically just boiled down to Jota might be back earlier than expected.
Yes,
that was really the only. It was like, oh, really good news on Curtis Jones. He'll be back after the international break. Oh, thanks. Really good news about.
We already knew that part. Yeah, we already somewhat expected that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the one that I'm putting my hands up, I'm going in. I want to take over Chris's job as the medical expert on this channel, because when Canate went down, I said that doesn't look good. That's much worse than everyone is saying, and he won't be back for a while.
Chris, you got competition. I don't know if Chris is in the chat or not, but yeah.
No.
You did say that, Brian. I will give you props. I mean, like, you did call it out. You said, like, when people walk off like that, it's not always the best news. That's always not the best news.
Yeah, I know, and I kind of didn't, but I said sometimes it's actually worse than those guys who just get a really, really hard whack on the leg and go off on a stretcher, and 2 or 3 days later you just calm down. Those guys that just sit down, they put their hand up and go, stop the game, and then kind of walk off slowly. Like, that's because they know something seriously got. And I thought then the whole idea that people say, he knew something was going to happen if he ran one more time, so he didn't run. I was like, yeah, dude, that's like, I knew if I put my foot down once more in my car, the engine was going to explode. That means there's something really fucking wrong with the engine. It's not like, oh, park it up for an hour and it'll be grand. It'll be fine if you do it. You can drive it tomorrow, it'll be grand. You're like, no, there's obviously something going on in there. So that was kind of dressed up as, oh, he stopped it before anything bad happened. That's not the way I was reading it at all. And he said it's not looking good for Man United. So that means a good few weeks altogether, including the international break. So, like I said, Dr. Brian MD and Chris needs to go back to being medical intern, 6 months probation. Learn from the master. Observe. Watch and learn and observe.
Okay, I'll make sure to note that on
Yeah.
with the
When
FSG
it comes
notes.
when it comes to diagnosing injuries, right? Forget
Uh-huh.
stats. It's all about the eye test.
We'll see, we'll see, we'll see. Yeah,
Yeah.
there was a question
So
they're
that's
asking
how.
about Kanate. Kanate, obviously, as Brian was just mentioning, will most likely not be. We had hopes that he was going to be fit for this FA Cup game. There's a lot of like rumors or murmurs that he might be able to be available for the FA Cup game. That's not the case. It could be also because of precautionary tactics with the fact that he has a history of muscle injuries, so we don't necessarily want to like press him into duty when we don't necessarily have to. Obviously, because we do have a really an emerging star, I believe, in our midst in Kwanzaa. I mean, Kwanzaa has really emerged as someone that is not only reliable but is really coming into form and is extremely well you know wise beyond his years in sense, like as in he's got like there's some players that's funny. We talk about these youth academy players, and often when you talk about them, we don't include players like obviously like an Elliott or like Kwanzaa. But I mean, like these guys are like 20, 21 years old, like these guys are young guys, and it's great to know that they're playing on a level that you don't even sometimes connect them to being that youth academy style player, you know.
100%, it's getting overlooked. It happened really quickly as well. It happened
Mm-hmm.
now again because he came in. He did really well,
Oh, wow.
and then in a position after that, a load more
Mm-hmm.
young kids came in, and he
Mm-hmm.
was so kind of immediately just seamless that as soon as people were talking about the new kids and all of that, it was
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he was overlooked. No one mentioned him, which is the biggest compliment that you could pay anyone because they did that thing on LFC a while ago that I sent you because I just thought it was a masterclass in an interviewer just saying how special is it that this happened, and then ask the next person how special is it that
Mm-hmm.
that happened, and then ask the next person is it more special that you did it with your mates, and then ask the next person how much more special is it? And it's just like the worst interview you've ever seen. But it's all five guys, the new kids, and Kwanzaa is kind of sitting there on the side kind of looking at them all, going, "Yeah, these young
Mm-hmm.
guns, eh? Yeah, these young guns, they've got it all ahead of them." He's just kind of sitting there, almost like he's a 28-year-old daddy. Oh, look at the young kids
Yeah,
here. So,
that question
even
got
your man
asked.
is kind of,
They said it. They
yeah,
said it real quick. They
even,
said it like, "Oh,
yeah,
which one of you?" He's like, "Who amongst you can like basically, walk into the locker room and change the song, or put a different song on in to like change up the
oh,
vibe in the
no,
locker,
no,
which
no, no.
is that's
Wow,
bold, it's very
that's big
bold.
privilege. That's big,
It's a big
that's LA
privilege."
privilege.
And they all pointed to
That's
Kwanzaa and they're
LA
like,
privilege.
"Kwanzaa, yeah." Yeah,
Yeah,
Kwanzaa's that guy. Out
yeah.
of all of us, we'll look for because Kwanzaa's, with the Kwanzaa's this he's he's confident. I like the confidence in him. I like the fact of like, like yeah, like Dustin says, no Matip, no Kanate. That's why I pondered about it looking back. Oh, okay. I thought he was mentioning about the comment he made when Matip was hurt. He was just like, basically he's like, hey, injuries happen and I'm ready to step up. You know what I mean? Like basically is what he said, and I was like, that's a confident young man, a very confident young man. And you got to have that. You have to have that. If you're going to be that guy for us in the center back. And I mean, like, you have to absolutely be that guy. And I really like the fact that he's willing and able to like take on that role for us. So Um,
Well, we did
also,
push back
all those
against the
out there,
slightly.
Ramadan Kareem, to all of you guys out there that do celebrate Ramadan. I know that that's it's going on right now. So big up to all of you that are honoring that holiday. And also, I was going to bring up the fact of we do have this game coming up against Manchester United.
Mm-hmm.
And also, before I even bring up that too, Hyler brings up the fact of, have you celebrated that Jaden Dan signed a new long-term contract with Liverpool? Very good to JD. Very good. Congratulations, JD, for that. That's big. That's big. I, I
Yeah,
think
I'd
I think that.
imagine.
Mhm,
Yeah, I'd imagine he's. This is something we do well, and a lot of clubs do it well. Again, I'm not in. I'm never in the process of just giving Liverpool head. You know what I mean? Everybody else gets. When they do it. A lot of clubs do this well, but we're one of the top clubs at kind of this kind of pacing of youth players. The,
mhm,
the the pacing of the journey. I've spoken about this before in terms of training grounds at other clubs having the colored sections, the different colored sections, like that you don't like you're in the blue section until you qualify, then you go into it's
Oh yeah, yeah,
progress
yeah,
through the
yeah, yeah,
building,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
literally
Mhm,
progress through the building. It's like that's a level orange. You can't go into that canteen. You're only in the under
mhm,
18s. You're only allowed into the blue canteen. If you do
mhm,
well enough, progress, you might get into the gold canteen where the players are.
mhm,
It's just about progress, step by step by step by step. And we do it really well. And I'm not sure if um, one of the guys that's leaving in the summer is Dave Fallows,
mhm,
who's our head of elite development. And I'm not entirely sure. I'd like to look into what the role of elite development, what Dave Fallows is. But that to me, I think it means he'd be a big part of bringing these guys through.
mhm,
Into like the
mhm,
development seems to suggest to me that it's the younger players coming into the later fold. So he is obviously after knocking it out of the park. If that's his job or whoever it is, that's the group that takes these guys who everyone knows are at the elite level in the under 21 and just makes
mhm.
them, bring them in. Like we've done that brilliantly. And the way we give contracts, it's real simple human psychology. It's everyone's talking about Jaden Dance. He's doing really well, yada yada yada. And then boom, oh
Mhm.
hell man, you see Jaden got a new deal. See Jaden got
Yeah,
a new contract, man.
yeah,
And it's
yeah,
all a buzz, all is JD just got a new deal today. 5 years, man.
yeah,
And they're like,
yeah. It's big.
cool, it's
That's big.
motivation, but it tells the
Yeah,
guys, look, they're not lying to you. When they bring you in at 17 or they bring you at 15 and tell you there's a pathway, there's
yeah,
a way, and you can, they're not,
yeah,
this shows you, look, they're not lying to you. Look,
yeah,
fucking Brothers is playing,
yeah,
Kwanzaa's playing every week. They're not lying
yeah,
to us. They're prepared to give us chances and new contracts.
yeah.
We do
Which is
that
very
so
interesting.
well,
It's a
man.
contrast. It's a big contrast, for instance, from like a Chelsea, for instance. And the only reason why Chelsea, a lot of the players, in my opinion at least, a lot of the players that we've seen was because of that transfer ban that they had. They were somewhat forced to rely more on their youth academy and bring up those type of players under those circumstances. But normally they're not going. They wouldn't have done that. They would have put him out on loan. They would have gone. He would have been, he would have been stuck in that little hiatus or in that purgatory of like not knowing whether you're ever going to really put on that blue kit for Chelsea at least, and for us that's not the case. For us, yes, there are those players that have gone out on loan, but as of late we've needed to use these players more often than not, and by having that be the case, we've had some opportunities, some doors really open, and you don't. And a lot of these players have never had to look back. Like a lot of these players aren't gonna. I don't see like Kwanzaa going forward will be a part of this club, for instance. Like some of these players will be certainly solidified players that get some real quality minutes, possibly quality
Yeah,
minutes
sorry.
with this club in one way or another.
Healer Healers, right? Yeah, I got the guys mixed up. It's Vitor Matos. That's
Victor
Dave
Matos, yeah.
Fallows. Dave Fallows is like the head of the recruitment, or I can't remember, but yeah, Fallows is one of the big guys. Yeah, Vitor Matos is the elite development coach. Yeah, sorry, thanks for correcting me on that, Healer. And he's saying
Mhm,
very important to replace. Not sure we can find anyone close to his level. Yeah, well, let's hope we can. But like, yeah, it's obvious that
mhm,
this guy has had a really big impact on what's going on. So these are the ones you need to kind of keep an eye on. The manager is the big one. But
mhm.
it's these little guys in the background that are doing a lot of the work. It's kind of, well, keep an eye on those positions too. to
No,
make
you
sure that
have to up from top to bottom.
you know,
No, from top to bottom, you have to. Like as in, like you have to definitely having the right people in the right places, and then you not having to micromanage is what you want to do. And that's what I like. That's a the mindset that at least I keep with my life. It's like I much rather trust in the people that I employ or the people that work with me or for me, and like I rather have them be reliable that I can say, oh, I'm not going to have to go through this or go through that. To like, or have to micromanage all these different little things, or have to overlook and question people's judgment, to make these different types of decisions.
exactly.
You want to
Trust.
believe in those types
That's where the
of
trust
roles.
comes in. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all about the trust. And that's the one thing I've
Yep.
always said about FSG is they may not be everybody's favorite, this or that, but they are not flawless, but they are excellent. And I say excellent, top of the world, excellent at appointing the best people in the world
Hmm.
to do the
Hmm.
jobs that are available.
Right.
They are brilliant at identifying the Michael Edwards of this world, the Vitor Matos's, the Klopps. Obviously, Klopp was no secret, but
Right.
knowing, putting the best people in place. That's
Hmm.
what they've always. That's what they do. You know what a hedge fund does.
Hmm.
FSG. They. John Henry doesn't sit there scouting players. He hires people, and that's what the Americans do when they buy a company. They put a management structure in place. Correct me if I'm wrong. They put a management structure in place. They step back from it. They say, "Here's money. Here's the best people. Now you make it work." And
Hmm.
it's on you, the Gordons and the Hogans and all of that. But FSG isn't turning up there every day going, well, what's the crack with Mario Balotelli? What's happening with Suarez contract?
That's you've got to appreciate those kinds of things, to be honest with you. I know people always talk about, oh well, this owner doesn't show up to the games, or he doesn't I'm like,
Yeah,
don't worry about those things. Okay. Don't really
no,
worry about those things. Worry about the fact of, do we have the right people in place to create an end
listen,
product, to create a
this
good
might get
product
me
on the
cancelled.
pitch? And we have a lot of those
This,
pieces in line.
yeah, this might get me cancelled. So don't cancel
No,
12
don't
man.
say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't
No,
say
it
it.
won't. No,
I'm gonna mute. I'm about to
I'm
mute you,
only
man.
saying.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
No, 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 it
Don't say
won't.
it.
It won't get
No, no,
anyone
no.
cancelled. It
Yeah, yeah.
won't do it. Oh my God.
No,
I
no.
was
Don't
just going to
say
say,
it. Don't say it. Don't say it. It's different.
it's so orange.
Just saying those three letters is sometimes not good. Saying so. Let's not let's
Well,
not go there.
let me
Let's
just
just not go.
a different point then. Okay, a different point, right?
Okay.
A different point. Okay, I'm with you. I don't care if John Henry's there or not. I really don't.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
it's not really. He's not going to be there when we're playing Stoke or whatever. Like, I expect him to be there at Hillsborough things,
Mhm. Mhm.
um,
Sure. Absolutely.
celebrations, presentations, trophies, anything like that. The
Mhm.
odd game that he can come over for, like, I get it.
Sure.
He owns a lot of other clubs. What difference does it make if he's there? But when there's a big kind of a thing happening, yeah, it'd be nice that he would show his face or whatever. But when it comes to those big moments and he's the last game of the season and all that stuff, I mean, do
Mhm.
people think people criticize him for not showing up? Like, do you think we'd win more games if he was there every 2 weeks? It really doesn't matter. Like, he's a busy guy. Billionaires are busy. He's got clubs all over the
Yeah,
world.
yeah, yeah.
He's got stuff all over the world. What do you want him to do? Be in Liverpool every second weekend? Not going to happen. I really don't care. Like, the owners that were there
Sure.
before were there. I mean, the Moors, yeah, because they're from Liverpool. That's what they.
Mhm.
Times have changed. Like, okay, you don't want to see Todd
Oh,
Bowley on camera every time Chelsea are playing. Who cares?
well, let's I would say this, guy. So quickly, I'll just go through a real surmise of what the injury report is, injury updates at least, because I know that was a lot of what people have been asking, and then we're going to go into these ratings. Basically, let's see. I'll go through through the whole list here. Let me pull it up here. I know that we just spoke about Konate as being someone that we're not going to see for the FA Cup. Most likely it'll be after international break. Some good news is that Bajcetic is going to be he's in a much better place with his growing spurt, I guess they call it, right, or his growing pains. He's not feeling he's pain free right now, which is great to hear, and long may it continue. So he's going to be returning. He's already on the practice pitch, but he's going to be returning to like actual practice with the team, which is going to be really, really exciting to see. Bobby Clark was, as Hylor put into the chat too. Hylor is, Bobby Clark is was seen on the pitch, so it's going to be. He's feeling much better. He says there was an uncomfortable that was uncomfortable. He got a knock there, a little swelling, and that's why the feeling that it might be something more serious, but it's not. So he's fine. That's good to hear. Bobby Clark has obviously scored in the game, but also the fact that he's been playing really, really well, and he's a promising young lad himself. Another another really a decent sign to see or hear about is that, especially because the player had started to pick up a little bit of momentum and form before he got that absolutely, and I can't stress this enough, and you'll see it on one of our upcoming episodes during the break. Caicedo, absolutely horrible tackle performed by Caicedo on Gravenberch. Could have been easily a broken ankle. That's how bad of a tackle it was. But fortunately for Gravenberch, he trained today, so he's ready. That was on March 15th that Klopp said that Ryan trained today again, and so he's ready to play. That's really, really good to see. Who else did we need to speak on? You know what was the only one of the main? Oh, and Trent Trent and Diego are both slated to be returning by by Manchester United, but not the FA Cup Manchester United game.
Yeah,
the Premier League Manchester United game. So obviously we could use them for that matchup. Obviously, any time we face Manchester United, whether they're good, they're bad, whatever the case, whether we're good, we're bad, it's always going to be a fight. So it's good to hear that they might be able to be a part of that recipe on beating down those Red Devils. The one name that I did not hear, and what he didn't name that he did not mention, and was very concerning, was Alisson. Alisson was not mentioned in the injury report update. We all heard about the muscle injury that he took, that he had, the muscle injury that he picked up in training. They're saying there's the report on Liverpool on the actual Liverpool website was he picked it up in training. There were some people that said that he maybe picked it up like in an everyday life thing, like maybe he was at home playing with the kids and slipped on a Lego or something like that, something stupid.
Oh, don't even talk about that's the worst pain in the world when you step on Lego.
Absolutely. Those things are like straight pins and needles. Those things are horrible. Stepping on those things are terrible. I don't even have kids, but I mean, like I got a nephew, and then I got younger cousins, and I hate those things, man. Those things are just like straight jabs.
Because you don't see. I used to do like you do when you're a kid, because you don't see it coming, and it just hits you from below, and a bad one of them can put you down.
Yeah. Oh, and also, who I didn't mention also real quick, Curtis Jones. Curtis Jones, this is what Honesty said. Trent might be back in 2 weeks after the international break, if he's not mistaken. And Curtis Jones also might be back after international break, but Ryan should be 100% to go. I am really looking forward to having back these players at a crucial time for this long haul, whereas we can hopefully not only get them back, but hopefully it's through the time off that they've had, that they've been able to kind of like get re-energized, revitalized with their engines and their tanks. Obviously, it's more likely that we'll have to, gradually include these players, not just throw them back into the game. Obviously we saw that with Mohamed Salah, and how Mohamed Salah has had a little bit of time to like kind of get back to the levels that we expect to see or expect him at. Certainly was the case this weekend, or not this weekend, but on Thursday, and even on the weekend as well. But yeah, it should be a good time for all of us. Like I said, though, with Alisson not being in that list, I was a little bit what's the words I'm looking for? I was concerned. I would say I was a little bit concerned because that was an injury that, again, it was a muscle injury, but he's a goalkeeper. And on top of that, not only as a goalkeeper, I mean, I get it. Any athlete can have an injury, period. But it's the sheer fact that they didn't give any return date, even a tentative return date for him.
That's what I thought David Lynch did a good job of. When he was doing his little roundup afterwards, he basically he made it kind of really easy for anybody to listen. He basically just put games beside the players. So he was basically saying, yeah, Gravenberch, Sunday's game. Right. Jones, Brighton. Kanate, Brighton. Trent and Jota, Man United in the league. That's the way, because he's saying that's the way they're planning. That's a really good way of looking at it. It's like, yeah, those boys for Brighton, those guys forget, maybe it might not be a week and a half, it might be 2 weeks, but no, look, that's the game they're looking at, maybe first game. And then to not even just pretend, don't even mention Alisson. It's like, okay, well, there's obviously nothing to even say, because anything he does come out and say would just be like, nobody knows,
right?
Because if he's done that, man, sometimes it's like when that happens, like, oh, it's 2 weeks, and then you find, oh no, actually, that one's a little bit longer. So they're like, oh right, cool, we're going to work on this, and then it's like, not saying this is going to happen, but now that I am the official medical expert in the building, like sometimes it's like, actually, no, it's not a month that needs surgery, and it's going to be next season, or it's going to be treatment. Because sometimes, when they don't know, it means they don't know, so that they could find out something next week, and it's like, yeah, we hoped after 3 weeks of training and non-surgery, because surgery is always, like, not pretending, like, everyone, surgery is always the nuclear option. So if it gets to the point, we try to just be chill with it for 3 weeks. And hope he can come back. And it's like, so we did just chill for 3 weeks, and he still has the pain. So it's like, yeah, that's going to be an operation. Sorry, no way about it. So, but hopefully it is just no, let's just give him an extra couple of weeks. But yeah, the fact that it's like no news, that really that would set the little spidey senses tingling, as it were.
Yeah. So there you go, people. I know I put a couple updates in the chat there, and also I see Hi Laura gave a couple in Hi Laura and Honesty, our offsite pundits, our offsite correspondents, I should say. Big up to you guys, always undefeated. Like I said, Mighty Red's Army, always. Yeah, they gave up some updates as well for you guys to kind of peruse over. With that, I figured let's get into these. Let's get into some of these ratings. Because it was a fun game to watch. If you're a Reds fan, I guess. Not if you weren't a Reds fan. I mean, I know it probably. I always ask this question of whether neutrals or especially rivals even enjoy just the football aspect of watching a game, or do they allow for the emotions to kind of get involved in whether they rate a game good or not. But all the same, I thought it was a fun game to watch. I certainly thought it was a fun game to watch. So I am I'm going to bring up this as well, and bring this over here. Let's just begin. Let's begin this, and it should be cool to hear what you guys think. You know, it's probably going to be no negativity on any of these players. Some of the players that have been getting a couple of different shots for some of their imperfections, but it is what it is. Let's begin with Kelleher. How were you guys feeling about Kelleher? How are you guys feeling about Kelleher? Go ahead, Brian.
What
Yeah,
did
you can
someone call him the other
you
night?
can start off. He's your countryman, so you can start off with your countryman.
Yeah, what did someone nailed it the other CK number one or something, wasn't it? CK number one?
Yeah, CK number one.
Yeah, CK number one. I think we should that works for me, CK number one. I mean, I don't normally go for those name things, but that's yeah, come on. CK
That's a
number one,
quality
man.
name. That's a quality number.
Yeah.
That's a quality nickname. I like that.
Yeah. He didn't he had the one thing and then he had the other thing. 7.5. You know, he didn't have a lot to
7.5.
do.
Oh wow!
So,
Look at Brian being critically honest.
yeah, look, he a busy night. He I didn't want him to stop that goal because you know how much I loved that goal they scored. I talked about it for about 10 minutes last night, how much I liked that goal. So I'm not blaming him for that because I would have been annoyed if he had saved it. And did he? Am I forgetting anything? Did he have a big moment I've forgotten about? A big save and I've forgotten about? Did he pull off
No, I
something?
don't think he necessarily had any really like tremendous saves or anything like that. Let me pull up the app that I use is acting kind of weird today, but I don't think he had any like crazy saves, to be honest with you. None that I remember. I did watch again. I watch all the games back more than once, and then I also enjoy watching the games that we actually absolutely crush in. So yeah, he only had one save. He had one save on the day.
Can you watch them back like on your TV service? Can you just like rewind something that you watch, or do you watch them on like where do you rewatch them? Do you rewatch them on your your TV provider? Can you just like go back and okay, you can rewatch something you've already watched.
Yeah, you can watch like as in it's there's a certain amount of time that they give you to watch the games, replay the games, but I watch all the games, whether it's like the Premier games or FA Cup games, the League Cup games. I can watch all of them back in full, and with the Champions League as well, I can watch them at any time at my leisure. Okay. So I can rewind them. I can do whatever I need to do to get the accurate take. But yeah, I thought he had a decent game. He didn't really have to face any crazy amounts of shots or anything like that. Because I'm trying to think of how many shots actually they had on. They didn't have many. Sparta did not have many shots at all. They only had 2 shots on target, and out of the 2 shots they had, one of them he had a save from, which was I wouldn't say it's a dribbler, but it was like a shot that was a pretty easy save for him. And then the other shot was
a very low, basically.
Yeah. Hyler gave him a 7.25. So yeah, I know. I tried to make it where it'd be easier. 72. I'll call it 73. Give him 73. You said a 75, 8.5, 8 from Dustin, 8.5. Let's
80,
give
85.
Yeah, let's just give him an 8.
Yeah, give him an 80. Sounds about right in the middle there.
Sounds about right in the middle. How about for the young man Connor Bradley? I thought Connor's been pressed into service for us. Connor's been someone played a full 90 in this game. It might have been a sign that he's not going to be featured in that Manchester United game, considering that Gomez got stubbed out. I understand that Gomez is going to have to. They're probably trying to monitor his minutes also because he's going to be going on international break and playing for England. But also, You know, Bradley got the full 90 out of this one. Gomez, like I said, got subbed off. So how were you looking at Bradley? Bradley, I thought, was engaged, didn't really have to didn't have any incredible statistics. Had one clearance, one block shots, two interceptions, one tackle, was dribbled past once. 101 touches, a lot of touches going through for Bradley. Those are kind of the numbers that you normally see for a Trent Alexander. And then was 1 out of 2 for crosses, 2 out of 3 for long balls, 2 out of 3 for ground duels, 1 out of 2 for aerial duels. It's a solid game. Bradley 70 from Dustin. Hylor gave Bradley a 70. Honesty gave him a 75. He says it's so difficult to rating a defense who barely had anything to do in this game. I can agree with
That's
that.
the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's hard to be. It's hard to say, oh, that defender was absolutely brilliant, because he did nothing.
Mhm.
So unless they kind of did something else, it's really hard to just say, oh, they were amazing or whatever, even if they were really good. But Bradley, for me, I think he kind of, when he came into this team at first, he went like full freaking Cafu meets Roberto Carlos meets. He just
Mhm.
exploded
Mhm.
onto the
Mhm.
scene. Where it's like,
Yeah.
well, maybe that's not expect a goal contribution every 80 minutes, maybe going forward, because he was racking up stupid numbers in terms of goals and assists per 90 from that. It was just insane. It was like when,
Mhm.
Ivan Toney came back in the Brentford team, scores or assists at least once in every game in the first 4. Bradley had
Mhm.
that little spell, and it's like now he's gone back to maybe just being what a more kind of cultured, reserved kind of scenario, but he's got that in his locker now. So I've had to temper my kind of excitement about it. So stop expecting him to play like that every game, basically. Is what I'll say to myself.
Right.
So
Right. Right.
he's still doing brilliantly. Like, so 75 is fine. He's playing the 90. 442 did a really great job on this game, actually, in a kind of a funny video, a little tactical breakdown thing on their
Mhm.
YouTube channel. And one thing your man was pointing out, and he was sort of saying, like, as we talked about, he said, right, this Liverpool right hand side is a problem. It is a serious
Yeah.
problem at the start of the game.
Yeah.
Kelly, here's 5 problems we don't want, and he just
Yeah.
means this is, you want your first team playing. So Kelleher, problem. Bradley, problem. Kwanzaa, problem. Elliott, problem. Right?
Mhm.
All young players who, in a perfect ideal world, aren't starting this game. Kanade is starting. Allison is starting. Trent is starting. So that's no Bradley, no Kwanzaa, no Keller, right? And
Mhm.
then if everyone is fit, maybe Elliott if doesn't start. So he's saying this is a problem. And he said this is, and then he showed Rodri in the huddle before the
Mhm.
game. He's like, Rodri, he says, look, watch again, repeat. Rodri's showing we are here to win. He was home to City's record at Anfield. And he's saying
Mhm.
this was the City mentality before that game when they saw that team and that lineup.
Yeah, they have to
So
be. They had to have been.
yeah,
If you,
yeah.
I
So
think for you to come into that game and not think that you as City cannot get a result, that means that you your mindset is crazy. Good luck in the Champions League if
but
that's your mindset.
but in terms of like, no, this isn't Anfield. This is us. And it would have been
Yeah.
like that would have been, they knew the team at that stage. They're going to know it's Kwanzaa, it's Bradley, it's not Kanadi, it's not Trent, it's not Allison.
Mhm.
It's not even, so that guy has stepped up perfectly, and then he goes and does 90 against Prague. So it's these guys aren't problems. So basically, at the end, anyway, your man in 442 is like, yeah, those problems. Kelleher, brilliant. Kwanzaa, brilliant. Connor Bradley, brilliant.
Mhm.
Elliott,
Mhm.
potentially man of match, brilliant. These were not problems for Liverpool.
No,
They were
they
not
weren't.
problems.
Certainly.
Like, when you looked on paper, so, oh, that's a problem. Connor Bradley, so someone who's just come in and set. Yeah, this is a long-winded way of me saying Connor Bradley has come in and just set a standard for himself that he's matched day in, day out.
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
just suggests
Yeah, I can agree
that
with
this
that.
guy is
Yeah.
Mr. Consistent. You know, his
Yeah.
worst game for us is going to be a 7 out of 10. Now, of course, he's going to go and have a
Yeah.
stink or something. But this guy, you know, a Mario Balotelli, he comes in and he give you a 2 out of 10, then he'll give you a 7, then he'll give you a 10, then he'll give you a 2. Connor Bradley is going to come in and give you 7, and then
I think that's great. I think that's
up
great
above.
though. 'Cause that's
Oh,
that
perfect.
that's that that's been the mentality that's been instilled in them from their time at the youth academy. They've been humbled. They've been understood that to help them with their own focus. It's a different mentality that you see in a lot of different clubs, and they also understand the fact of there, as you mentioned earlier, there is a a real pathway
Pathway.
towards actually playing. There's a pathway that you can actually get involved and stay with this team and be an actual contributing factor in it. And once you get the confidence and once you see your own teammates, you see these guys that you might have posters of in your room at one time in your life. What if that's where all of a sudden you're standing next to these guys, or you're in line with them to walk out onto the Anfield pitch, and you know that these guys have your back. They believe in you, they trust in you, and they're not going to again feel as though they have to like overly compensate to try to like hold up your end of the bargain. They believe that, hey, I'm going to do my job. We believe you can do yours, and that's what you get out of Connor Bradley.
When a young player has the trust of an older player, that's the final piece of the jigsaw in their mentality. That's all they need is to be able to look at an older player like Virgil and go, "Yeah,
Mhm.
don't worry, man. You're playing cool." And Connor Bradley going, "Virgil, what do you mean cool? Do you not think you should be trained?" He's like, "No, you're cool, man. You're brilliant.
Mhm.
Cool, you play." Then you're like, something something will pop in your brain then. But Healer asked the thing there. He's saying, "I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure." Trent walks back in.
I'm glad you said that because I thought he said he is sure that when he comes back. Because I was going
No,
to say, I was a bit about to agree with Hylor, but like I actually believe that I can understand what you're saying, but I just think that I don't want to get too far off on a tangent, but I just think that there are certain players, if they're fit, if they're available, with the amount of actual assets or qualities that they bring to the pitch, the abundance of qualities that Trent Alexander-Arnold brings, he walks back into the lineup, despite the
of
fact that
course.
Connor Bradley has been playing well, and despite the fact that Connor Bradley has been performing, to the levels that have been sufficient to contribute to be called contributions to our success. I just think that there are parts and points that if we had a player of a world, when you have players of that world class status, that building, you can't undervalue it. I just personally, that's how I look at it. I just say you can't undervalue it. But there is a shout to say that Connor is going to make it difficult for Trent. He's not going to make it easy. He's not going to make it easy. I will give you
It's
that.
just a great. It's a great compliment to Bradley that we're even saying.
Mhm.
That we're even kind of entertaining it.
Is
It's a great
that I agree
compliment.
with too. Yeah, that's a spot on comment. So with that said, we're gonna give him a 70 because I
Yeah.
saw Dustin gave him a 70, Hyler gave him a 70, Honesty gave him a 75. I would have given him probably a 75, but I'm okay with giving him a 70. It's all good. Next on the list we have is the young man I was speaking about earlier, the young man I call Happy, because he makes me happy. Hopefully, he makes you happy. I'm so happy to have Kwanzaa. So happy Kwanzaa for all of us. Um, so, what was your rating on Kwanzaa, people? And what was your rating, Brian?
Another kind of it actually took me. I didn't know for ages what you were on about. When you kept saying that at the start, like Happy Kwanzaa.
Yeah.
I thought it was something to do with like an Adam Sandler movie or something. I didn't
Yeah, like
realize.
Happy Gilmore. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like. I knew the other festivals, but I'd never heard of that one.
Right,
But when you
right.
were saying it, like, oh right, okay, now I get. Like, but for months I was just like, what the? Who's that? Like, anyway. Um,
Yeah,
but then eventually I heard, I was like, oh right, now I get it. I'm an idiot. But look,
yeah. It took a
eight.
little while. It took a little while for some people because like we do celebrate here in America. It's an African holiday, so like or concept, So like yeah, it's just a celebration somewhat more so, but like as in um
Yeah, especially if it's
I
one of
thought it was kind of
the
cool. I thought it was kind of cool because it brings attention one to a holiday that is it's a great holiday. The concept of the holiday is a great concept, but also it's the sheer fact of I feel blessed. That's what you're supposed to feel. The blessings of Kwanzaa. It's like he's a
Is
blessing
it
to
like a
have, and it makes
Thanksgiving?
you
Is it
happy.
like is it kind of the same idea as Thanksgiving kind of thing? Like it being
No,
thankful
it's
for what
right
you have.
around.
But
It's
I mean, the
right
idea behind it,
around.
like the
No,
being
it's like
thankful.
it's a celebration. It's right around Christmas. It's like from the 26th to the 1st. And it's like basically it's kind of like it's unique too because it's kind of like Hanukkah too, in that it has like lightings of candles and such, you know.
Yep.
But it's like I think of what like it's like an honoring of it's an honoring of bonds between like your ancestors. It's an honoring of like bonds between like your roots of like your ancestors, like I said earlier. But like I'm thinking, I'm trying to do the best I can. It's just a matter of that's just an understanding of the fact of we honor those that came before us, and we honor the fact of like you know the moment of our the moment of the union of our community, the union of us in our community, the struggle, the helping out of others in your community, the upliftment of each other. It's those kinds of concepts. It's a really positive.
Yeah.
There's like 7 principles of Kwanzaa. I'm not going to go through all of them, but that's the basic concept of it. So it's a very
So,
whole it's an uplifting style of concept. It has nothing to do with like any like it doesn't deal with like you honor it. It's not like Christmas, like it's not symbolizing the death of
oh
Jesus
God.
Christ or something along those lines. Yeah,
Yeah. 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 Cool.
yeah,
Now there you
it's
go,
pretty cool.
people.
There you
You've
go.
learned
There
that
you
tonight.
go.
Honestly, you didn't think you were
Yeah,
going
there
to
you
learn that
go. And
tonight.
that's also why I like to say it though. I like to say it that way because it starts a conversation of why does he keep saying that? And then and then you get into a conversation and you get an understanding, or you get to embrace the a concept that you might not have or something that you might not come across in your everyday of life. So it's very cool to kind of say those kinds of things. At least that's how
If you
this is what I've been
haven't,
saying.
if you haven't already subscribed, then you should be by now. And
Yeah.
this is like they charge for this stuff. This kind of historical education in the middle of a player
Mhm.
rating. We sneak them in. We sneak them in. Don't think we don't do this stuff on purpose. Like they won't
Yes.
learn, but let's pretend it's a player rating and we can teach about social history.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah.
That's always been the plan. Yeah, no. Yeah, look, the guy, man, did he have a night off or did he have a night off? Come on, give him 8. Move on.
Right. Right. I would.
To
You said
avoid
give
the
him 80.
title.
Yeah. VBQ. Dustin gives
Yeah.
VBQ a 90. I don't. I know that's a little bit of a trigger for you, Brian. Don't let it get you. Um.
Well,
High
look,
Lord gave him an 80.
if anybody can bear the weight of the ridiculous next such and such, Kwanzaa is probably one of them. You could call him the next Beckenbauer, and he'd probably go, "Yeah, I just might
Yeah.
be."
Yeah. Yeah.
People are like, "Yeah, that
Yeah.
suits. That suits. Yeah, I can
That's
wear that
cool.
one. I can wear
He
that.
probably put some
I can wear it."
sunglasses on and be like, yeah, maybe
Man,
maybe he'll start calling. Maybe they'll be saying he's the rebirth of Kwanzaa, or maybe it's I don't know something like that. I don't know. I thought Kwanzaa had a good game. I'm gonna give him an 85 to kind of balance it out because I would have given him an 85. There's a 90 in there. I know you said 80. Tyler gave him an 80. Let's make him an 85. Um, Next on this list, Joey G. How were you feeling about Joey G? I thought Joey G was good to see. He had some limited presence in the game because he got subbed out. Obviously, I don't have the exact time that got subbed out, to be honest with you, but I know he got subbed out, and then also,
I think that was in the not that was in the second round of subs, wasn't it? I think.
yeah, I think
I know we
so.
did
Let
the
me
older
double
one. I
check.
think it was in that second round where everyone was like, "Hang on, who's playing where now?" They took
Yeah, he
everything to
got
figure out who was
subbed
playing
out.
where.
He got subbed
67.
out. No, you know what? He got subbed out in the first round. He got subbed out in at halftime. So
Oh,
Elliott, McConnell, and Simicast all came in at halftime. Elliott came in for Nunez, McConnell came in for Endo, and Simicast came in for Joe Gomez. And big up to Joey G. I like the fact, I mean, like, if there's ever a redemption story to kind of go, I mean, there's going to be, I'm very invested in seeing the, all or nothing or whatever it's called by Amazon. That's going to be held, that's going to be done on this Liverpool team. What a year for them to do it, to sign the contracts. Because they get the deal with the whole, like, Jurgen's last year being a part of it, us going for another quad, being a part of it, albeit just a different version of it, but it definitely is still a quad all the same. And then also I like the fact that I'm very intrigued with the story of Joey Gomez, because Joe Gomez has had he's the longest tenured player on this team, and he's also had to battle from so many, frustrating and sometimes somewhat devastating injuries that have taken out a player who at one point was the preferred choice at center back pairing with RVVD. And that's
won the
like
league with
something
him.
that good.
Yeah, won the league with Joey at centre back.
Yeah.
Canade wasn't at the club. Matt didn't play. The central defensive partnership that won us the league was Gomez and VBD.
Mm-hmm.
It's the fact the guy played most. The guy was, it was a really good partnership. It really was, and it's one of the great, like you said, redemption arcs, comeback stories, whatever you want to call it. But as I said a while ago, he will be the kind of everyone who gets all these awards for player of the season, all that, regardless if we win, whatever.
Yeah.
He'll be one of the guys.
What is the award for comeback player of the year? There is no award, I think, for that.
There might be. I can't think what it is off the top of my head. But if you were to walk into the club and go into the dressing room the day after we win, whatever we win, or we don't win, whatever we don't win, and you ask everyone in the dressing room who was player of the season, they'll probably say Joey and someone, or someone and Joey. He's been immense for us this season, absolutely immense. So he deserves, he deserves to be kind of mentioned in all the success that we might have already had and may go on to have this season. If we do anything, he will have been such a massive part of. And he's got more games to play. Robbo, I don't know, man. Robbo in a lot of games could be looking over his shoulder thinking Gomez might be starting next week.
Okay, I see why. I see. I was wondering why High Lord rated Gomez 68, and he said it was because he thought perhaps called out for the Sparta goal. Okay, I can understand that.
I can understand that pass catch anybody out.
Yeah, it was good build-up play by them.
First time half volley.
Oh wow, 68 is going to be the. I guess everyone's like, everyone's picking 68, and I'll owe you one, I guess, or something. All right.
No.
That's a line. That's a line from Brand Nubian for all the hip hop heads out there.
I know you mean it. I know he means it. I know you mean it.
Oh, I get you.
He means it. He means it. We know you mean it, though. Yeah, you get it. Okay. I'll give an
What was
85.
you would have given 85?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, just to counteract that
Um,
68. Wait,
yeah,
hang on.
yeah, yeah, right.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Wait a second.
So-
Wait a second. When did they score that goal?
No, yeah, they scored in he's right about that. They scored in the
Okay.
40, they scored in the 42nd minute.
Yeah, yeah. I was just thinking. Yeah. What was he
I thought they scored in the
doing?
second half too, but it was pretty late in the first half. It was pretty late in the first half. Because it was
Yeah,
like
yeah.
we
Okay.
scored all those goals and then we had a lot of possession. Had a lot of possession. They had like one real slight chance, and then they had a little bit of possession. Then we brought the possession back, and then they had one little slight chance again, and then we had a whole lot of possession going into it, a lot of momentum going into it, and then they right before halftime hit, they hit us with that goal. So it's cool. I'm gonna give him I'll give him a I'll give him a
Justice for Joey. That's what I'm saying.
yeah, justice for Joey. Well, since I gave Cody or Cody, like since I gave Connor
Yeah,
a
yeah.
70, I'll give Joey a 72. How about that? I don't think he did poorly, but I can understand if he got caught out. It was his responsibility. He was, I guess you can say he was I think Robbo was more the captain of that back line than Joey was, but still he was the captain of that. It was a return. Not many of us expected to see him because he hasn't played. I know you mentioned it a couple of different times. One of the major reasons why you weren't expecting to see Joey G, at least as a center back, is because he hasn't played center back for us that much at all this
So
year.
long.
Right. So so yeah. Speaking of the captain of the defense, let's give it up for
Capitan.
Andrew Robertson, the
Flying
guy who
Scotsman.
the Flying Scotsman. Yes, and I mean the Flying Scotsman had to play. Flying Scotsman was playing left center back for us. He was like VVD who? No, just joking.
That wasn't
he was
bad, actually. That wasn't bad, actually,
he
to be
played
honest.
well. He played well.
Yeah, that wasn't bad. Yeah,
I mean,
VVD who? That
there's
wasn't
no.
bad.
I don't think that out of all the defensive players in that back line, Robbo is one of our better defensive players. You know.
Did you see what VVD came out and said with today? Just quickly. Did you see
No,
what
what?
VVD came out and said today?
No, I didn't. What
Do
did
you
he
remember?
say?
Do you remember after the Chelsea game?
Hmm?
Was it Chelsea game? Yeah. And he came out and said they thought I was finished. You know,
Oh
they
yeah,
thought I
sure. I
was
saw
finished.
that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He came out today. He came out today. He's like, I should never have said that. He was like, I actually want to almost say I want to apologize. But he said I should never have said that. It's kind of weird. It kind
Okay.
of like, oh, okay. Yeah. It's like, well, he was like, no, that was just me. You know, I expect more of myself. People should actually have thought I was going to be better this year. All that.
No,
Yeah, I should never have said that.
I think he should have stuck with his statement because that's the truth.
Yeah, no, I just thought it was
The truth.
strange to come out. I was like, yeah, it was unusual. Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. He's had a real kind of, I don't know, a Drake moment, maybe. I know he's all like, no, I'm sad. I'm sorry. Drake's a
Hmm.
dick. Um, but yeah, it was like, oh, okay. Like a week more later, he's like, yeah, I should never have said that. Whole they thought I was finished. I was like, yeah, I thought that was a story I wasn't expecting to see today. But yeah, Dustin is saying, what does alliteration mean? It's just like if you start everything with the same letter, like justice for Joey. Like I know it's not total alliteration, it's JFJ, but
Hmm.
you know, JJ, it's like you say things, slogans, and there are alliterations like justice for Joey. It kind of work catchier.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I just thought it was an interesting thing to see. It's like, oh, Virgil's had some kind of moment or something. Like, oh, you know, I don't know if he was asked a question or something, but um, yeah. Anyway, yeah, Andrew, one of those guys that was like look, we're 11-2 up. Can you go and play centre mid for 5 minutes? A lot of
Yeah,
people played in position. Yeah,
yeah.
a lot of people playing in different positions. So
Look, yeah.
I give him an 80.
How many times were we saying it? Like, as in, I think it was J.K. was saying it, that you know it seemed a little bit crazy to see Simicast and Robbo playing next to each other on that back line.
Probably, yeah, it's definitely never happened before.
Right,
No,
right.
definitely that's. Yeah, I wouldn't be. Yeah, JK was saying it. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the first time they've actually
Yeah,
been on the pitch at the same time. I mean, why would they be?
yeah.
Maybe
And I
in
mean,
some
like,
random pre.
and on top of that, seeing even further, what was kind of crazy is to see VVD get subbed in, and he plays on the right side. He's playing right center back. So it was like Simicast, Robbo. So basically, the center back pair was Robbo and VVD. That
Basically,
was
you know what
interesting.
that was.
Uh-huh.
You know exactly what that was.
Mm-hmm.
That was what FIFA did to your team in the Anfield Cup. That was
Yeah,
your team in the Anfield Cup.
yeah,
When
yeah,
FIFA tried to make it defensive, and it was like Robbo at centre
yeah.
back,
It
Borgel at
was.
right back, and that's exactly what that was like,
It
man.
was
It was like everyone's like, where the hell are these people playing, man? Where are they playing?
exactly. It
And then you
was.
go
It
and you
really
look at it,
was.
yeah. Oh, Virgil's on left wing and Robbo's over right back, and like, okay, right, cool. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
really
that was that.
was. Yeah. Hyler gave Bravo a 75. He says he was out of position and all that jazz, but hardly tested. Yeah, I get it. I get it. He wasn't exactly thrown into the fire, but there's always a chance that he could have been tested. And to have the measure to say, hey, go out there and be confident enough to play that role and play that position. That was like one of those things where it's like, it's one of those things where you have to give him credit for it. Credit is where credit's due, I think. Um, okay. Okay, cool, Dustin. I will look for your DM on Instagram. I certainly will. For Anfield Cup 2, definitely. We will be bringing it back. That was a fun tournament. A lot of people enjoyed that, to tell you the truth. A lot of people definitely
Yeah,
enjoyed it.
yeah. We're going to. Don't worry. We're going to streamline the F out of that thing because it was. We were learning. We were doing stuff on the
On the
night that we
fly.
can definitely make.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can make it so everything's more boom, 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 and ready to go because it was crazy. It
Yeah.
was great. Like, it was great. But there's things that we know now that we won't do again. Like
Yeah.
this AI
Yeah.
management stuff and all that. Like we know what's going on, and people will have
Oh
to kind
yeah,
of set
trust
up
me.
stuff.
I know now. Do not go in for Kane. But anyway, hopefully Kane can pick it up and play well for Bayern Munich coming up pretty soon. But getting back to it, I'm gonna give
Yeah, that's it.
Robbo. I'm gonna give Robbo an 80. Okay, I know it's 75. I did. My fault. Did you give a rating for Robbo? You said you give a rating
Yeah, I give him a 75.
75. Okay, there's two 75s. I'm gonna bump him up to an 80 only because like I think he deserves a little bit of credit for the fact that I just really enjoyed seeing him. I really enjoyed the fact that he was playing next to Simicast and playing next to BBD. That was interesting for me. That was definitely interesting for me. So big up, and he was the captain. He was the captain for our club to bring him out. That was cool to see too. Um, let's move on then to a player that we've all been really wanting to see back into form, possibly, and surprisingly so. One of our more, definitely one of our more fit players in the sense of like as in when it comes to fitness test type thing. The whole what do you call it, the lactose test or whatever it's called, and that is Dom. How would you guys put Dom in your books? I would have definitely I thought Dom did play well, looked engaged, got a goal for himself in this game. What were you thinking?
He looked like he was just working his way back still. Definitely not like not full throttle Dom. It wasn't like
Mhm.
him out and out best. He's still definitely not. That was probably a good game to get him back to match fitness. So
Mhm.
80, I think I'd give him an 80.
An 80. Okay.
Mm.
Um, I thought I mean, like, it's good to see. I think there's something in Dom's game as of late, especially we saw it even in the beginning of January before he got hurt. And that is he's got a he's leaning towards more at looking to score than he was, I think, previously in a lot of the matches. I think in a lot of the other matches he was like, you might see a crack here or there at goal, but for Dom, you're primarily seeing him do that Hendo role. And I don't want to say that I don't want to get him typecast into being Hendo 2.0 because he's not even close. It's not even close to that. But more so, I think you've seen him have a little bit of more of a, you know what, let me get involved in this. Or, you know what, I think I can score at this, that kind of like mentality. I think I've seen a little bit more on the pitch especially as of late. I mean, he's taken a lot more. He took a bunch of shots in the last game he was in. He took, or for him at least. And also he's just looking to score, I think, more. And when I said it on the watch along, I'm like, I mean, who was it? I think it was Dom. I was like a couple players. I'm kind of disappointed I didn't get the next goal in wager in or something like that for these players. But I just kind of felt that, hey, Dom's about to get this goal, but Dom's going to give an effort and chance, a couple efforts and shots here, and we might see him get a goal out of this. And considering that he has a great shot and he has an absolute cannon when it comes to his shots, no matter where they are on the pitch.
Yeah, he's growing it like it's a very kind of case study esque version of how a player adapts to a new team.
Mm-hmm.
He comes in and just really tries to prove himself from the beginning in terms of his work rate and how hard he can work, and all the kind of flair and the quality and those kind of things in a player like him will come afterwards, because like just knowing the kind of like he's Hungarian, the kind of mentality he has, he want to come in and work hard, work hard, work hard, work hard. And without a doubt, either he said to himself or the management would have said to himself, you can score more. You can score. You can be scoring more. It's not like criticism. Oh, why didn't you score last week? It's like, look, man, you're doing everything,
Mm-hmm.
but you can score more. And that's only that. It's just finding your way into a team. You know,
Mm-hmm.
just finding your way into knowing that actually, I don't have to pass to whoever it is. It's on me. I'm going to shoot. You know, no one's. It's just finding your way in. Give him two. Look, give him. I was going to say give him 2 years. This is the kind of jar. This is the kind of stop moment that happens every time, because we're talking about players and then we start talking a little bit in the future, and we have to stop because there's a new manager.
I got
You
you.
know, it
I'm
can
just
all
asking.
change. It can all
I put
change.
in the question there. I just put in there that does he have the potential to be the Hungarian Gerard? I know
Yeah,
that we are. I'm just it's just that's a tongue in cheek type of I'm
yeah.
displaying
But
around.
this is a guy who, if the next manager decides to play a system where we have like the same kind of solidity in the way that we do, and Sabazai also plays in midfield, he's given a lot more attacking. It's not like Klopp isn't using him right, or Klopp is holding him
Mhm.
back, or our system isn't getting the best out of him. I just think
Mhm.
if there kind of is a part of that, but that's not a problem. We're playing our system. But if a new manager was
Mhm.
come in and do something with a more advanced number 8 or a kind of two number 10 type things,
Mhm.
a guy like Dominic Sabazai could be going from like doing what he's doing this season to scoring 10, 12, 13 goals,
Mm-hmm.
and making 8, 9 assists. Like somebody kind of unlocks him. And again, I don't want to say like we were locking him. It's just that in a different, more attacking system. This guy, I think, would blow it. I think I'm waiting for him to blow the league apart a little bit next season because people say, "Oh, he's this midfielder guy." It's like, no, man, this guy has Lampard level goals. Goal contra. This guy is a goal scorer from midfield. So I think I'm like, he's one of the players that, of all the players that the new manager comes in, that I'm most intrigued / excited to see what they do with is Sabazlai. Because we all talk about it. Oh, he can play left wing, right wing, number 10. I wouldn't be at all surprised if we do see, because he's that good. And we said it, like we all want to see him do the good stuff, like scoring goals,
Yeah,
making
no,
assists,
I get it.
being good. So he's the one that, for me, him and maybe him and Trent. Like, I'm massively intrigued to see what the next manager does with Trent, because here's the world's biggest football problem for you. You go
Mm-hmm.
solve it. There you go. And if they decide to unlock Szoboszlai, then the Premier League doesn't know what is going to hit it next year. That guy is, like I
Yeah,
say, he's double figures goals and assists. He has it in him. No problem, man. No problem.
yeah, I understand. I was asking Hyler who was his first choice if it wasn't if he didn't think that Sabasali was um, a first choice target for him at least. And I can understand. Verts is a very, very talented player. He's a
Oh,
player
yeah.
that I hope that we do. There are the
Don't
rumors
count
out
that him.
there. He's going to be an expensive target, but I mean, like, it'd be great to see him join the club. Be great to see him, be a part of this team. It is going to. The only issue is sometimes it's like trying to find these players playing time. And obviously a lot of these players want to start. So, it gets to the point of like, okay, you bring in a Verts, like where does he play? Obviously he wants to play in that midfield, but like, where and how do you fit him in? That's obviously going to take minutes away from other players that are capable, if not just as capable. But
And
should be
Verts
interesting.
isn't just a pipe dream either. I know, like, the Verts thing sounds very 2+2. Alonso comes, Verts comes. We were
Mhm.
massively linked with Verts before he got that injury 2 years ago. Like,
Yeah.
he was one of the main guys in terms of players we were looking at in the transfer rumors. It was him every week, and so that's a new one for us. I wouldn't be at all.
Actually,
I
this
genuinely wouldn't be at all surprised if that did happen. We bring Alonso and we bring Corey Burke because he's way too good to stay at Liverpool. Way too
Mhm.
good. And they'll get offered so much money that they will sell it. So that one isn't too, it sounds very kind of, oh, you just make, it's an easy transfer rumor, but also it's an easy transfer rumor because it does
Hmm.
make sense.
I yeah, I'm gonna quickly address something since I do have Endo behind me. Hyler says something on the sense of should probably mention that he really. Hyler said he should probably mention that he really didn't rate Endo that highly in Bundesliga and was shocked when Liverpool bought him. But in fairness, he almost doesn't recognize Endo on the level he's playing now. And I can get what you're saying. I just think that some players, it's not always about a player's abilities in the sense. And this is what I try to emphasize. Sometimes it's about the right coach, the right environment, the right teammates, the right system. Like all these different components get put into the equation of seeing sometimes the best out of players. It's the same reason why there's some players that have played on world class levels at Liverpool, or at least on high levels at Liverpool, and then they'll go to another team and you don't see it. It's not that they're a bad player. It's just that the system that they're in, the teammates that they're in, the environment, all these other components, all these little factors all factor into what you're going to get on the pitch. That's at least from that's my perspective at least. But I gave Dom an 80. Let's get on with this because we got a lot of players to go through. So I'll try to get through these as quickly as possible. Wataru Endo was involved, had to track back, had to play that the role of trying to mark the man on that goal that you spoke of. What would you have rated Wataru yesterday?
Kind of an easy day at the office. Give him an 80.
Okay. Justin gave him a 90. You give him an 80. Let's make it. I think let's make it like I'll be cool, and let's make it. Let's make it an 82. That's the good thing about now these new scores. We can make it. I can make it a little bit different. So let's make it an 82. How about that? It's kind of in between. How about for Bobby Clark? Bobby Clark. How about for Bobby Clark? What were you feeling? Bobby Clark picked up a goal. I think that's his first goal as certainly his first goal at Anfield, right? For the senior squad, right?
Well, yeah, obviously, yeah, definitely, surely, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Unless he scored in some random Europa League game that we're talking about.
Yeah, yeah. It could be a possibility. That's why I was asking it that way.
Yeah. No, I'm sure
Bobby,
someone would have.
what was?
Healer would have mentioned it. Healer would tell us if this was the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
first.
He
But
certainly
yeah.
would. He certainly would.
Did he get? Did he not get an assist as well?
I don't think
Did he not
Bobby
get a
got an
goal?
assist.
Did he not get an
He got a
assist?
goal, but I don't know if he got an assist. I don't think he got an assist. Um, shoot. Let me think. I'd have to look up and see. I don't think he got an
I'll give
assist,
him an.
but I'll double check.
I'll give him 85. 85,
I think
regardless.
I think we should.
Regardless.
I would have given him an 80. I would have given him an 80, but I would bump him up to an 85 simply because of the goal. It was a well taken goal. It was an opportune style goal.
Yeah, he did get.
In that,
He
like
did get. Yeah, I was
he did
thinking
get
he
an
did. He
assist.
did.
Okay,
Yeah, I was thinking he
okay,
did. Yeah, so that's definitely an 85.
yeah, yeah. It's a solid 85. I'm cool with that. All right, so 85 is what we're gonna do for him. All right. Then how about for the guy that originally split this fan base? You know, there were a lot of haters on the Darwin train. Um, at least a lot of haters in the social media circles that we all frequent. Um, a lot of people just didn't. A lot of people just said how he can't score. He's never going to amount to anything. I think. Let me. Hopefully, I started. Hyler gave a great statistic on him earlier. I think it was Hyler, or it was either Hyler or Honesty did. Let me see if I can find it
He's
real quick.
approaching.
But
He's approaching 30 goal contribution, basically.
yeah, how about that? How about that? That's pretty
Oh, well,
freaking impressive.
it's
Did he put it back in there? I'm looking
no,
for
it's
the
terrible.
statistic.
Yeah, it's without a doubt, basically his best season. You know,
Yeah.
he will still kind of make you think. You know, he still doesn't have that kind of concrete, kind of rock solid. Oh, as long as he's playing, we'll be okay type thing. It's just, well, whenever Darwin is playing, you just never know. But it will be a goal or an assist. It will be something. But he's still waiting to find that kind of consistent groove, I think, of just calming down a little bit and stop doing mad stuff. And as long as he keeps doing mad stuff and doing things like that, he'll always have
Mhm.
people who don't really rate him because they just want a more kind of consistent goal scorer who's less involved in oh, look at Darwin did this week. Look at Darwin did. They just want someone who scores goals. So until you get
Mhm.
that from him, he'll always have the detractors. But then you
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the amount of people out there that are like, I wouldn't trade what he does for anything else because what he does is fairly unique. Like people at the start got really frustrated watching him because he was doing
Mhm,
Darwin stuff and not scoring goals
mhm,
and
mhm.
not contributing. Now he's still doing the Darwin stuff, which everyone
And
loved
is
him for. And
contributing
yeah, and he is
goals,
contributing. So
right?
they're like, yeah, they love the chaos and the way he works and the way he runs
Mhm,
around, and they loved all that. Now he's adding
mhm.
the end product to that. Then it's like now you've got loads of people just, yeah, I love it, wouldn't trade it. But then you'll
Yeah,
always have that people out there that are just like, nah, he's too unpredictable, inconsistent, whatever. But he's what is it the
yeah.
Americans
Here was
call it
the
in terms of in business? He's a
yeah. Here was the
disruptor.
statistic. He's a
Yeah,
disruptor.
he's a
Yeah, he's
he's
an
a disruptor.
ambassador. He's. I
Yeah,
like to say he's an ambassador.
yeah, yeah.
Ambassador. He's
Keeps
like
it
a
hard to
raider.
train.
He is the invader that you don't want to. He's like I know Hyler doesn't like my Viking terms, but like he's an invader. He's like a Reds invader in the sense of like he invades the back line. He makes it difficult. He makes
Football.
everyone be conscious. Like as in I'm sure like even Ederson, for instance, when he picked up that knock and he fouled him and we got the penalty out of it. He knows that Anderson probably could have saw that and said, you know what, I'm allow for him to pick up the ball and just concentrate on my positioning, and get ready to cut off the angles and make the shot to take on the shot. He didn't even want to take on that opportunity. He tried to make a chance to go and take the ball away from him or get to the ball first, and that was the wrong choice. So like, yeah. This stat from Honesty was Darwin Nunez is 1 goal contribution away from 30 for the season. He's currently a goal contribution every 81 minutes. That is exceptional, man. That's
Like
exceptional. It's a goal every game. It's a goal
if
every
you
game.
can
He's
afford
symbolic.
a goal contribution every game, that means it's
Yeah,
goal or assist.
right,
So it's
exactly.
either a goal.
That's a goal. I meant goal contribution. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
But if you can
Mhm.
make good players or force good players into making bad decisions,
Yeah.
then you're like what you're saying there, what he did to Ederson, because everyone's saying against any other player, Ederson just walks out, dummies them, he does something fancy, and makes the striker mess it up, and just walks away with the
Yeah,
goal.
I
That's
get it.
Ederson.
I get you. I know. I
But
mean,
Darwin,
Hyler's talking
yeah,
about the sitter that he missed. Even he knew that he
yeah,
should have made more with that attempt. He knows that it just kind of like went off his foot wrong. You know, um, but if you look at his last couple of games, especially with him back in the lineup, even before that, he's been scoring on a pretty good consistent basis nowadays, and that's what
it's
we've
like in
always wanted to
tennis.
see. Those goals. I've
You
been
watch
saying it from
tennis.
the very beginning. Mhm.
You watch tennis, right? Don't you know tennis, right?
Right. Hmm.
In tennis, you have that stat for unforced errors. It's like
Hmm.
where they can actually tell like that like a player made a mistake because the other player forced them into doing it. So it's
Right.
like a big stat in tennis is unforced errors per match. Like that's what Darwin
Hmm.
does. He forces unforced errors, if you know what I mean. He makes
Yeah.
people who would not like he makes people make mistakes who
Yeah.
normally would just like make a simple decision, pass it sideways. When you put a player like Darwin in the mix, he creates this uncertainty and he creates this thing where other people no they don't know what he's going to do. So he creates a lot of stuff from that. Just like
Hmm.
the Ederson one is a
Hmm.
perfect example. It's just he makes a guy make a once in a season
Hmm.
error. Like he wipes Darwin Nunez out and he wipes himself out in the process. Like that's chaos. If you want to know, like
That
what is
is
chaos?
chaos.
That's
If
chaos.
there's any definition of chaos, that is certainly
Yeah,
chaos right there.
that's chaos.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Penalty, injury, Darwin, boom. What the fuck just happened? And it all happened in about a half a second as well. It all
Yeah,
happened
yeah,
in a
yeah.
split second. Boom. penalty, you're out for the season. What the heck just happened? Darwin just happened. That's what just happened.
Yeah, definitely. So let's see. I'm gonna give Darwin an 85. I just like the fact that he's on form. I like the fact that he's like really, he had two goals against Sparta before this. He certainly has done this is Sparta kick, by getting the first goal for the game that started us off with that little blitz of of goals that we got in that 7-minute run. Let's go on to this player that I had getting a brace, if not a hat trick. He let me down by not getting a hat trick, but this is another divisive player at the moment, at least, whether it's the color of his boots or, even like his performance on the pitch. Cody has found himself in the crosshairs for some people. And Cody was due to have one of those games, man. He was due to have a game that got him off the slide of being, the ire, to have the everyone, throwing the knives at, basically. How did you look at Cody's performance yesterday?
Well, I didn't. Yeah, until JK educated me. I didn't realize there was a pink boot issue.
Right. You can't say much about the pink boots now. Or two. He had 2 goals. I mean, you can't say too much about the pink boots.
No, when you look at the pre-match commentary or the pre-match kind of chit chat, there was a lot of pressure on him. He's got to score. He's got to, he's got to get a few tonight. This tonight, he's got to that tonight. I wasn't overly fussed because for me, he's another player that's looking at the next manager. He's another guy that's sitting there going, I don't know my role in this Klopp team. It's never been defined. We've never sorted it out. We've never nailed it down. He's not going to be here in a couple of months. He's very much in a bit of limbo, I think, and just trying to play in and out of games. So I wouldn't like to be him as a player right now because he's sitting there
I can understand saying that.
Yeah, he's pretty much sitting there waiting to see who's coming in next, because there's no point. Basically, what I'm saying is he could go out on the pitch now, right, for the next however many games and be absolutely phenomenal. But it's not going to matter. It's not going to get him into Jurgen Klopp's plans because Jurgen Klopp is leaving. It's like he can go out and impress Klopp all he wants and be brilliant all he wants. But it's not going to make Klopp go, oh yeah, this is my guy now, because the next manager is going to come in and see a Cody Gakpo that really is a project player, or a player you might want or you might not want, a player you could utilize, a player you might not utilize. So I'm respecting Cody Gakpo when he comes on, but I was just surprised to see how much pressure there was on him before the game, in terms of like, he's got to score. If he doesn't score tonight, he's done. If he doesn't score tonight, I finished with him. If he doesn't score tonight, that's it now. It's kind of like, well, sorry, I mean, what do you expect? Like, this is him at the moment. And if he does score, what's he going to do? Oh, I played my way into Klopp's plans now.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I just wanted to point out the fact of, look, in this game, for instance, he had 64 touches. There's been games where I've mentioned him and he's gotten 12, or something ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like something ridiculous where you're just like, was he even on the, like, what was the purpose of him being on the pitch? And if he's not even getting any type of like service, or he's not getting involved in the game,
which is where
that's
this negativity.
Right. I'm trying to get across.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get across the fact that like he got 64 touches. He had 5 shots, 4 on target, 2 goals. He had 1 shot off target. He had an XG of 1.12. So, for him to have 2 goals, that's actually pretty decent. He had one key pass, but was offside once, which he shouldn't have been offsides. That could have been a goal actually if he wasn't offsides. Excuse me. And then, but normally, as of late, I've been commenting on he hasn't been scoring for us. I get that, but he has been at least picking up the difference by concentrating a little bit more on his defensive measures. If you can't score, okay, at least contribute something. And if that means, and I get it, he's a striker or a forward, if he's playing wing or if he's playing striker for us, whichever it is, you still want them to be able to conduct the press because the press is one of the most basic elements of this team. So if he's going to do it, at least conduct the press properly. At least have some pressure on your ground duels. At least bring out a press that's going to help us initiate or spark our offense. And before he has, in this game, he was all offense. I mean, we didn't have to necessarily rely on having him do much defense in this match, but he doesn't have any clearances, no block shots, no interceptions, no tackles, wasn't dribble past at all. He was just there to play as a forward somewhat in this game. And it ended up resulting in him getting some really decent opportunities. He was 1 for 6 for ground duels. He was 0 for 3 for aerial duels. Normally, he has a little bit better numbers when it comes to those cases. But, a lot of the times, Brian said this, I've said this, I think that he can be an accurate shooter. He possibly can be a very clinical shooter as well. Just think back to Manchester United in the 7-up game. That was possibly one of the most brilliant goals I've seen in a long time. With the angle that he picked out against a very good De Gea. So let's not throw this guy in the bin just yet. I think that Cody has some really good qualities about him. A lot of people also don't recognize the fact that he is only 24 years old, so he is relatively young. It's not like someone that's you can't really hold him on the same bar as a Diaz, for instance, that is 26, 27 years old. That's what I'm trying to get across. This guy's getting close to being at the prime or in those prime years of his career, and is also give him a run at the position, at a solid position, rather than throwing him in all willy-nilly all over the pitch in different roles and not giving him a solid run.
Yeah, he's the first guy in that dressing room that wants to know who the new guy is. He really is. And Klopp brought him because he wanted him, but it's like he's one of those guys where if it was 12 aside, he's playing every week.
Yeah.
But we spoke for day one. It's no good for any player to be shifted from position to position every week because they're never the first choice. So it's until he gets that, and that's what happens sometimes. Look, at a top club like Liverpool, you end up with guys like that who are that good, who can't get in a team. Like Taylor saying, it's luxury problems.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's just what happens. Like Cody Gakpo and Jota would start. Imagine
on the majority of teams in the league.
Yeah.
They would start. Imagine Cody Gakpo would be a starter on, I would say, 3/4 of the league. In one way or another, whether it's left wing or striker, that's depending on whichever he and that coach, decided. I think he could be a starter on 3/4 of the league. That's just me going off the top of my head. I could easily
Gakpo and Jota start for Villa. Gakpo and Jota and Watkins up front for Villa. Imagine that, right?
Absolutely.
Gakpo and Jota start for Spurs. Probably. They start for Newcastle. It's just that's when you have Diaz and Salah, then you end up with Gakpo and Jota on the bench when you have Núñez.
Yeah.
And for a player like Gakpo who just needs to come in and basically, I think, just play 32 of a 38 game season,
Mm-hmm.
and then you see what he is. But
Mm-hmm.
it's about getting those minutes. So he'll
Yeah,
be
no,
looking to
it
see what the
is.
new
It
manager
is.
says and think,
It's about
come in
getting
and go, you ready?
familiarity with your with it's about also getting like not only familiarity with your own form, but I keep stressing this alone. And this is like what I often say when it comes to people might say, oh, you're doing the defensive league for these players. No, I'm just trying to get across that it also takes it where you get familiar with your teammates. Like as in Dustin says, he noticed Cody plays well with Darwin in the same 11. Yeah, you'll notice if you have a player that you know is going to create certain opportunities for you or has the ability or skill set to be able to provide the type of passes that you need in the places that you like to receive them, or that this player is going to help track back and kind of relieve the stress of you having to do overly exert yourself in having to take on the work of a player that doesn't want to put in the same commitment to tracking back. Those kinds of things, when you know those things exist, it creates opportunities for you. And once you get into that familiar role of thinking like, yeah, I'm going to play this role every day, or this is the role I'm going to play today, and everything else, that's cool. But with our front line, the fluidity of our front line is so fluid, especially at this moment. Something I've said since the 7-Up game. I've been saying this, okay, and that is because we have such a fluid movement with our front line. It doesn't really even matter where these guys are playing, whether it's right, left, center, as long as they understand their roles and they understand each other and have that almost telepathic link with each other. It can really create some great opportunities. And I'd say Cody, once he gets out of his clouded headspace, and once he starts seeing what you saw possibly yesterday, he's still getting there. Despite him getting 2 goals, I thought he should have had 4 goals, to be honest with you. But all the same, once he starts getting into that part where you just start every swing you make, you connect with, you're going to see something out of Cody that you remember initially when he started with us. Same with Diaz, the same with Nunez. All of them have the same concept.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how good a player you are. If you're sitting on the bench, it kills you. Like, even if you're a good player, like the more you play, the better you get. The more time you're on the pitch, the better you get. The looser you get, the more confident you get, the more rhythm you get. Like, yeah, at the elite level, they're not going to get better, as it were. They're not going to get more confident, but it's rhythm, basic. It's rhythm, is what it is. And if you're off the bench, on the bench, start one, don't start one. Yeah, I suppose it's not necessarily about making sure that he defines a position for himself, but it's more about it's defining that he is actually a first team starter. Until some it's just, and again, it's like I don't really mind too much what we do with the next guy. I just really, really, really hope we don't play 4-3-3. I just hope we do something different, because this has been great and all that, but I hope we just do something different. Here, 1 sec. Back in 1 sec.
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna go through these rankings for you guys. So I gave Cody. I saw you guys put the rankings in for Cody. I gave Cody an 85. He had 2 goals. It's good to see him back into a little bit of the form that we hope continues and even gets even better. And we can have a even more informed and even more a more focused Cody. We're looking at some good things, I think. The Egyptian King wasn't most likely going to be playing a whole 90 yesterday because of the injury to Bobby. He was forced into that role of having to play a full 90. It was funny, like I said. I was speaking to Brian about it, about the fact that that Salah was told by Klopp, or he said this in the presser at least. He was told by Klopp. He said, hey, you know what? You don't have to play defense. That is something that you probably will rarely, if ever, hear Klopp say to anyone. So it was very, very interesting to see him say that. But all the same, I got you, Brian. All the same, Stala was was good to see Salah playing in, as all of us said, a very, very strong, unexpected lineup. It was good to see our Egyptian king really, really get the opportunity to play in a game that we need him to find his form so that when he comes, he is a ready-made killer for those Red Devils. And
he
let's
likes
just be
playing against
honest.
Man United, man. He
Yeah,
likes
he can.
playing against Manchester
Yeah,
United.
he fancies a game against Man United.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this much. This is how well, and it might make me have to change my score right here, but this is how well Mohamed Salah played yesterday. On my, so you guys all know I use the Sofa app, right? Sofa Score app. And on the Sofa Score app, they have an algorithm, and it's 1 out of 10, and they give all these different grades, and it moves up or down depending on how you play. I have rarely, if ever, I can't tell you the last player I've ever seen get this score. He got a 10 out of 10. I've never seen that rating before. He got a perfect 10. He got a Nadia Comaneci, since we're, like he got a perfect 10. And it was one of those things where I was just like, holy crap. But then you look at it, guy played really, really well. He had 1 goal, 3 assists. He had an expected assist. He had XA of 0.99, and he had a XG of 0.47. But the guy put in some numbers. I mean, I think you were saying it in the watch along, Brian. That he was sort of stat padding there,
Yeah,
he's definitely padding the stats there a little bit. Because I mean, it was one of those things where it's like, yeah, you know what? I'm not gonna make these runs. I'm not gonna because I was saying it too in there. I'll sooner see Connor Bradley make that run on that right wing, than I will probably see Salah making that same run on the right wing. He was going to be reserved, play that facilitator, and then when he gets the opportunity, when Salah got that opportunity, it was on his left foot. He was one-on-one with the goalie. You might as well just write it down as goal scored, for the most part. And that's what we got out of Mo Salah. But he got a 10 again. He got a 10 for his score on SofaScore. That's pretty impressive. That's super, super impressive. I see KJ gave him a 90. He said Salah was just defrosting for United on Sunday. Yes, definitely. From your mouth to God's ears, right? Dustin says he calls him a wizard. And then KJ said actually he's gonna bump it to a 95. Hylor gave him an 85. Hylor's definitely Hylor's playing Simon today with the ratings. He's definitely being tough. But it's cool. It's cool. That's not a knock. It's not a judge, Hylor. Not at all. Not a judge. I'm just saying. Being what I just said. So 95 from KJ, 85 from Hylor. What'd you give, Brian, for our Egyptian king? What are you going to give him as a rating?
I'll give him a 90. Yeah, I'll give him a 90.
Give him a 90.
Great. Yeah, he covered it all fairly well. He gets a 10 out of 10 from SofaScore, but we'll leave that for the Champions League
nerds.
performance.
Yeah.
Well,
that's right. For
Sparta Prague at home. Yeah, it was Sparta Prague at home, so let's not go too crazy. But I think Mo needs to get a
performance. Performance.
Yeah, but a 10 out of 10. I go down the France football kind of thing where you got to keep that 10 as a special place. But
yeah,
I think
he only had 2 shots. He had 2 shots. He had 2 shots. One was blocked. He had 2 shots. One was blocked. The other one was a goal. He was 84%, excuse me, for his passing. Had how many key passes he had yesterday?
None.
If you want to take a guess, I don't know if anyone knew. Hylor probably knows this because I know Hylor is very, very big on the stats. Probably even honestly might know this, but I'll just throw it out there.
I've said none 3 times, so my game I guess is none.
No. It's not. He had a lot of key passes yesterday. I'll put it that way. He had 6 key passes. He had
Yeah, but we just
big
pranked these boys.
he had 4 big chances created. Like,
Yeah, but it was Sparta Prague at home in 11-2. It's a mismatch.
let's not do
So
that. Let's not do that. I'm not going to sign off on that one. Sparta
no, but
Prague
he won't.
is a team that, like, it's that you have to. The competition is what it is. You can allow for yourself to play down to the level of your competition, or you can just be the level you are and
Yeah,
excel and just utilize that.
yeah,
Mohamed
but
Salah
like,
didn't even have to put it in the fifth gear, and we saw what he got. That's what I'm trying to get
yeah,
across.
but
But
what I'm
that's just
saying is, they're playing
yeah.
against inferior opposition. Like it's an inferior. It's not. He didn't do against Real Madrid or Man City. Or like he wouldn't get those numbers against someone else. So it's great. Like it's all. It just shows. Like if we played Fleetwood Town, he'd probably get more insane numbers. So it's like, yeah, I would expect him to do crazy numbers against them. But I'm just talking about the guys giving him 10 out of 10. And what I mean is like when the France football people, like if they want to give a guy a 10 out of 10, like they did it back in the day. It was like, well, we're only going to give a 10 out of 10 because it's a special performance. But I mean, okay, if that's a 10 out of 10 against Prague, yeah, it is that individual game, I suppose,
I
in
think it
terms of
is.
stats.
I think you're underscoring it. That I think that the sheer fact that he had that kind of a performance is
No,
impressive
but rankings
considering.
are no, but ratings are subjective. Ratings are completely subjective. Like we
Yeah, no,
talk
I
about,
get that. I get that. I get
one
that.
man, one man's 7 is another man's 10. One man's 4 is
Sure,
another
sure,
man's
sure.
8. So,
I'm not
but
giving him
yeah,
a
no,
10.
no,
I personally wasn't giving him a 10.
I,
I
I
actually
gave him a
had him
9.
at
Like I gave him a
yeah,
9. No,
yeah.
so
I feel bad the fact that the score I was originally going to give him now, because I mean everyone's giving him.
listen,
I mean,
listen,
after
yeah,
saying that, I was going to give
not
him like
hearing these
probably like an
prices.
88 or something. But like,
Mm.
yeah.
No, I mean, look,
Um,
let's not
yeah.
blow any. Like these guys all did a great job last night. But if we could play Sparta Prague every week, we'd be winning. We imagine that playing Sparta Prague every week. How good must the? Yeah, I don't know the Prague league. Yeah,
I just think that I just know how it is when sometimes,
well,
like
the
for instance,
Prague
I
is
know when I would
the
play against. Sometimes you play against the talent. Like it's kind of like playing against your younger brother, and you're playing. You're playing against your younger brother. You know you can beat your younger brother. You know you don't have to put the extra effort. You know that you probably get stats to actually show you playing well. But if you show no mercy, like it doesn't. He's like one of those things I've seen, like the dad that comes by and like in
There
basketball
was
and like blocks the shot from his like little 12-year-old kid. And he's like,
there
no, and he
was
like
very little
waves the
mercy.
finger in front of his face, you know.
There was very little mercy last night. That like
Yeah,
Simpsons meme. You know that like the kids like you stop, it's already dead. After like the
yeah,
fourth goal in 7 minutes, it's like no,
yeah,
just
yeah,
just stop. Like this isn't
yeah,
you know
yeah,
this
yeah,
isn't fun anymore. Actually, you
yeah,
know
yeah, yeah. No, I
it
get you. I
does
get
things.
you. I just
Yeah,
about that. All right,
like
I get all right. I gave him a 92. How about that? Is that
but
okay for everyone? I
we
gave him a
were
92.
all like even Chris, I want blood angel was saying last night that like yeah let's not humiliate these guys to a degree. I know he was saying like I
Yeah.
want more, but he was
Well,
yeah. I mean no one wants
this
them.
I was going to say real quick, this is a good point, Brian.
Yeah.
Hyler brought this point. He says, but when you look at any match, there can be a huge difference between first and second half. It's been a bit of a problem for Liverpool earlier, starting slow and then delivering the second half. I get, again, we can go back to the point that Brian just made about the competition, the level of competition that we were facing today. But, we've also seen cases where we have started slow against teams that are subpar competition level towards the Liverpool squad, and we don't click in the gear until that second half of playing in some of those matches. But I like the fact that it seemed like we were in like high gear. I like the fact that we went from first to third. We just like basically skipped
Yeah.
second gear and just revved the engine and just like, peeled out. Like I
That's
like
been the
the
most
fact that
frustrating part of this season. It's been this nonsense of having to go behind for 50, 60 minutes and then show up. That's
yeah,
been the most
yeah,
frustrating part of this whole season is like every single week. 0-0 at
Yep.
halftime, 1-0 at halftime. And then,
Yep.
look at Klopp's heroes coming out in the second half. It's like, can we not just do this for once in a couple of games
Yeah.
in the second half
Yeah.
and start putting Premier League sides to bed like this? Now, I know they're not
Mm-hmm.
Sparta, but
Mm-hmm.
can we not upper and just get a couple of games, done and dusted to a degree? Like we can just
Yeah.
start like that,
How
open them
good
up
did you
like
feel
that.
knowing that we were up 3-4, like by minute 14? How good did it feel to know we were up 4-0 after seeing all these players, all these strong, strong lineup that we did? How good did it feel to know, one, there's no way you're coming back from whatever the score, what was it, 9-2 at the time or something, or 9-1 it was or something. There's
Yeah,
no chance of them
like
coming back. There's a whole game's going to be whatever happens. It's going to be all just laughs and giggles for the rest of the game as long as no one gets hurt. The only thing you're thinking about is just don't get hurt. And that's it. I enjoyed that.
yeah, like the Premier League version of that would be, we're not going to be beating people 4-0 by half time, right? But the
Mm-hmm.
Premier League version of that be, how about instead of being 0-0 at half time against Bournemouth or Luton or whoever, Forest, Everton, how about we just beat
Mm-hmm.
2 at half time every now and again, like, so we're not having to constantly bring these comeback
Yeah,
jobs
yeah.
out.
No. Yeah.
It's
No, I'm
just,
sorry, laughing at
look,
KJ's comment.
yeah. Um,
They did.
it's just one of those kind of frustrating things where you just go, look, open the taps, but not everyone's going to play like them, and it's just, it should tell people that now we have that goal scoring power.
Mm-hmm.
We should know. We should have known this from day one. Like, we have goals pretty much across the front line if we want them. If people show up,
Yeah.
we've goals in the
I like the
midfield.
fact that we've got goals now in the midfield too, Brian. To
Yeah,
be honest with you, I like the
Smalls can
fact
score goals. We've got
that
that's
that's
what I mean
never
across
really
the
like.
front line. I'm including them. I'm totally including them,
Yeah,
boys.
we've got goals from the front line, from the midfield. We've got goals that could come from we got Kwanzaa taking shots. We got Connor Bradley getting goals. We got,
Yeah,
we got Rabo's got a goal this year. There's like little things that like make you go, hey, you know what? Yeah, I kind of like this engine. I kind of like how this engine is purring. So let's just go through these. I'm gonna go through the subs real quick.
yeah,
I'm just gonna
yeah.
I'll do a little self rating. If there's someone that I really got wrong, then speak out, and give those kinds of things. But I'm just gonna kind of get through these, so we can
Yeah.
we can talk about upcoming. Harvey Elliott, an 80. I thought Harvey played well. I thought Harvey did some decent things with on the pitch. The sheer fact that this guy's putting in the minutes that he's putting in, pretty impressive. Let's see, who else do we have in line? We had McConnell. We had James. Let me bring it up. Sorry, James McConnell. I thought James McConnell. A lot of the guys like McConnell or Simicast or even VVD really didn't have that much to super do. I know that McConnell, Elliott, and Simicast did come in at half. But by that time, let's see, we scored 2 goals in the second half. I thought we controlled the second half for the most part, other than maybe one instance that we didn't, that they got maybe like a momentum switch. But other than that, I thought that we controlled the game pretty well. I'm gonna give James McConnell a 70. Is that bad? Anybody
No, I
object?
give them. Yeah. Well, that's cool. Go.
A 70? Is that good?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm only going by the fact that we gave Connor, we gave those guys 70s.
Yeah.
Hyler has it as
All good.
78. Okay, that's close enough. I give him 80. Hyler gave him a 78. If our Simon Judge gave him a 78, I can understand that. Brian's playing Simon too a little bit, but it's cool. Let's see. Simicast, I think Simicast again, probably a 70. Nothing super spectacular. No crazy crosses. No anything spectacular. But he didn't have a negative game.
No.
Let's see. VVD. You want to say something about Simicast?
No, say no, can't argue with it. No, 70, cool. I'm giving them
Okay.
all 70, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much all 70s.
So,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
I would have
that
maybe
works out.
gave VVD a 75. That was just because he's our captain. And I give him the benefit of the doubt for having to, like, you know, come on to the pitch in a game that he probably wasn't expecting to be a part of, you know. But being that we have to, being that that definitely makes me recognize the statements that Klopp made in the presser about Konate not being ready. It made a lot more sense. Hindsight, knowing that, it makes a lot more sense why Kwanzaa got taken off the pitch, because I was thinking like, well, I thought Kwanzaa was going to run this. I thought Kwanzaa was going to get a full 90 out of this game, you know. So, but you know, the fact that he came on and did his duty, which is pretty cool. The last sub that we had in this game was the Polish Messi. I know that sometimes people don't really necessarily like hearing that name, but I'm not going to rate his performance because he got in. Excuse me. I'm trying to think of when he got in the game. I don't think he got. I think he got in pretty late. He got in at the 73rd minute, so he did get a couple of different touches. I guess he did get a couple of touches. I just don't. I don't know if I would. I don't know. I wasn't going to rate him. I'll just give him an NA, despite him playing 20 minutes or whatever it was. I just thought that it was just good to see Musolowski get a start. It's good to see a name that was
It
so
proves that he's
highly on the
real.
list. Say again.
It proves that he's real.
Yeah,
He
I'm glad
was.
to see he's
You know,
not a hologram. Yeah, I'm
yeah.
glad to see he's not a hologram. I'm glad to see him
But
get a little
after that
taste
performance,
of this with the other guys. You know, like get a taste of the Anfield magic. You know, like the Anfield vibe. You know, in a game that could be possibly the last game he's going to get an opportunity to play in, because
he'll
going
never
forward,
play
his
for
games are
Liverpool again
just going to
after
get
that.
harder. Yeah, there's
No,
not going to be
after
any other
that
games.
performance, no,
Yeah,
no, he did nothing. He got his shot,
yeah.
he got his chance, and he was anonymous on the pitch. I'm not blaming him. I'm just saying it's not for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I'm just saying sometimes it's just not for everyone. And the highest level of football for us, this guy. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I just think this might be a bit of a charity job. I don't think we'll see this guy play for us again.
That's a
I'd be
shame.
shocked if
I
he
mean, yeah,
yeah,
that sucks. But
I mean, he's been here a very, very, very long time. This isn't a
yeah, I know.
rush
Yeah, I
joint.
know. Maybe
Yeah,
this was
this
just like
guy,
a, yeah,
yeah,
an opportunity,
move,
a
dude.
chance to get like possibly like I don't know how many appearances you have to
Yeah.
make to get an actual medal,
Oh no,
but
one will
like
do you. One will do you. No, one will do you in an actual
one will
game.
do. Yeah, yeah.
One will do you if you make an appearance. One will do you.
So
So
that's cool. So he'll get a medal.
no,
You
that's
know,
cool.
if we do get a Europa,
But
this
just
Europa
move, dude.
title.
Go to fucking Werder Bremen or Fulham or whatever. Just
Mm-hmm.
move, man. Go. You're not going to play. Just go. Get game time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, the question comes to us all now, and it's a very important question, and that is, who is your man of the match?
Mutman
Who is your man of the match?
or the Mutman, as I like to call him.
I have a shout. Dustin's giving it to Dominic.
Oh, I'm giving that man of that.
Wow, that's two shouts for Dominic. Who you get? Who else? I'm allowing for the chat to get their votes in. Who would you give it to though?
I don't know, man. I
It's a
actually
tough
don't
one.
know.
Tough one.
I actually
It's a
don't
tough
know.
one. Yeah.
Uh, like give me a tiebreaker. Give me a
I don't.
because they're all
Yeah, I
like
don't know.
most of them are really good. Most of them were. Uh, uh
Man.
geez, man. Give it Bobby
I don't
Clark.
know.
Give it Bobby Clark. Young player, goal, assist. Uh, he did no better or worse than there's anyone else that did a
Yeah,
better job than him. I'll give it to Bobby.
I
I'll
don't.
give it to Bobby Clark just I'll give it to him
You're
just
gonna give Bobby?
for the vibes, basically, because I'm just literally sitting here for the last 30
Mm.
seconds going, well, everyone got 8 or 9,
Oh,
but
I know
nobody
who
was
you're gonna.
like
Yeah,
above, obviously above anyone else.
yeah.
So I'll give it to Bobby Clark just for making that impact on, and being a young player and coming on and doing it.
I did forget one other person too. I'll get to our Kaiser as well, but you're gonna give it to Clark. KJ gave it to Clark. There's 2 votes for Dom. There's 2 now. See, why'd you have to even say it like that? Now you're like, now I have to be the tiebreaker. I'm gonna go
Someone else
with
might talk on it.
huh?
You're spoiling Clark there. Yeah, I'm
You're
spoiling
sporting
Clark.
Clark, yeah.
That's exactly what I'm doing. That is
It was
exactly what
good
I'm
for
doing.
him to get his goal. It was
Yeah,
good for him to get his goal. I get that.
yeah.
I
Because
really
nobody
do
it
get
was
that. But I think as Hylor made a comment earlier, and I agree with the fact that like Dominic was very influential in us getting our fast start. I agree with that completely. I think Dominic was like kind of like that unsung hero before he actually eventually got his goal himself. I think he was actually um, considering the lineup,
well,
considering the midfield that we went with, and being considering the lineup, the midfield that we started at least with, having Bobby Clark, having Endo,
yeah.
and then having Dom as being our midfield. A lot of the
Quickly though,
offensive sparks are going to come from, huh?
but quickly. If I'm not
Mm-hmm.
wrong, we're talking about starting quickly, yeah. Szoboszlai's impact. If I'm
Mm-hmm.
not wrong, did Bobby Clark not assist the first goal and score the second one?
I can tell you. Um, Give me a
And
second.
Dustin, you're saying like you're spoiling Clark, let him climb the ranks. It's about
No,
like saying, well,
Dominic. One of the reasons why he's saying this because Dominic had the first assist.
yeah. Someone said earlier on that I was saying, did he not assist? And someone saying, yeah, he assisted first goal. But it's not
Yes,
about let him climb the ranks. It's like,
Sabasli had
yeah,
the first assist to Darwin.
yeah. But you can say
And,
Bobby Clark had a really brilliant game yesterday, and I want to give him a man of the match. It's like let him climb the ranks. It's not spoil. It's like, man, okay, we get it. Like, don't put pressure on players, but come on, man, like
it's
live a
okay. It's all
little.
right. It's
Live a little, man. It's not like saying,
live a little.
oh, I'm
Yeah.
giving him Clark man of the match, and I'm saying he's going to be next Steven Gerrard and
No, it's all
everything
good.
else.
It's all good.
Yeah, it's just saying, look, give him man of the match for yesterday. Had a good game. Like, give the kid his
Right.
props for one game. Yeah, he will
Yeah, I
get
get it.
there. We're not saying, oh, and he must now be the best Liverpool player ever. Like, no, he did well
No, no,
yesterday.
no. We
Amen.
get it. We get it.
It's like you gotta
I'm going to
let
go.
yourself believe.
I'm going to break the tie, and I'm going to go with Dominic. To be honest with you, I do agree the fact of like Dominic played a good game. I'm glad to see Dominic back. I think Dominic's one of our more uh, one of our players that we miss more so than we think, and it doesn't seem that way possibly because we've had McAllister be able to step into that role for him and still provide some type of relief for us and be that like influential player. But I'm gonna go with Dominic because I know we are about to land this plane here. Um, and real quick, what do you guys want to what would you guys want to give our Kaiser? I didn't give a rating for the Kaiser. So I'm gonna give Dom man of the match. Big up to the boss. And real quick, what would you rate Klopp's performance yesterday? And this is to the chat
Oh,
too. This is your chance to say what you feel, to say if you think
eight,
the Kaiser got it right
80,
or if he got it wrong.
80.
An 80. Okay.
Yeah, I'll give him an 80.
This is
Not
why
straight out of the
also
phone.
I like when we use our 5 subs, but it also makes you it makes you cognitive, considering that we had to put in VVD, rather than obviously like be able to sit or excuse me or be able to sit like Mo Salah. Actually, that's what I meant to say. Or even VVD, but it's still even so with Mo Salah, we weren't able to sit Mo Salah. Like sometimes you definitely play loose with the cards when it comes to if you do get a player that needs to get taken off, or you do get your hand forced on who you're going to have to bring off. You have to make the most of having those subs. I mean, something happens or Bobby Clark can't continue or something like that, and we already made our 5th sub. Hey, we're playing with 10 men now, rather than 11. So yeah, it is one of those things, but it's cool. Yeah, I think he made some good choices. So you gave him an 80. Hyler gave him a 90. Wow, our Simon's given very good choices for our Kaiser. I'll go with a 85. I would make it an 85. Is that cool?
Cool.
Big up, Sam. Big up, Sam. Big up, Sam. Good to see you. All right. That's about all she wrote for us. I've had fun as always doing the ratings. No real stress in doing these ratings. It's always fun to do a rating session after a 6-1 victory.
After an 11-2.
Yeah, an 11-2 on aggregate. You don't hear that too often. Double digits. Oh, there was 2 real questions. We'll pop off these 2 questions real quick.
Okay. That'll be quick.
Oh no, actually now maybe there is only 1 question because it looks like that's not a question for me. This was a question by Honesty really quick. He said, off-topic question, with the top 5 stuff, does it mean top 6 and 7 also get Europa League? And does it mean the number 8 will be in the Conference League? And what if the team in 6 win Europa League? Oh wow, that's a really complex question.
Yeah, exactly. As far as I know, right? As far as I know, it's just an extra Champions League play, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that won't affect that won't create the domino effect that Honesty is talking about there.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it does, then that's like, yeah, yada yada, what if, and that will be
Right.
for the. But as far as I only, and it's only kind of come up again today because it's become a possibility. But basically what I think is what happens with something like that is if you get bumped up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your 5th gets bumped into the Champions League, right? It doesn't then create a new place. It's just you get the reward. It doesn't then open up a new spot in your league. So you may, do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so it's not like saying they go into the Champions League, so now someone else gets to go into Europa League. It's just like, no, they get to go into Champions League. I think that's how it works.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because otherwise, then you do get that domino effect of what happens here and here and here and here.
It would be like this. So top 5 would go into the UCL with 6 into the Europa League, along with the FA Cup winners. And then the Caribou Cup winners would get a place in the.
Yeah.
What's that?
If the team that wins the FA Cup isn't already qualified for Europe.
Right. Yeah. There's a lot of variables, but I'm just telling you the basic. The Caribou Cup winners would get a place in the Caribou Cup winners would have gotten a place in the Conference League, but obviously we're not going to be that. We're not going to have that be the case.
Yeah, you're not going to that deep into exactly. Because exactly. You're right. Because a lot of times those things are wiped out because the team that would have gotten that place has already won a higher place.
Right.
Like you're saying, the team that would have won the cup might have taken it up, but the team that won the cup would be Manchester City, and they will all already qualify for 2 above. Yeah, but the amount of variables, if it worked out, where it was different teams that won,
Mhm.
Like if man, like, yeah, you could potentially end up with maybe 8 English teams. Like if the two teams that won the cups, right? Just say,
Mhm.
for example, the two teams that won
There's a
the
high probability. There's a possible probability. I should say high, but there's a possible probability that a Premier League team could win the Champions League, could win Europa, and could win also the Conference League too.
oh
Because
yeah, and that was like
Villa's still involved. Villa's still
yeah,
involved.
it,
Obviously,
it
West Ham and
it's
Liverpool
on
are still
West
involved.
Ham by the sound of it. Apparently, it's on West Ham because of how well they did previously.
Hmm.
It's their progress that's actually pushing the coefficient up. Villa isn't really affecting it.
Hmm.
It's West Ham that's actually pushing up the coefficient.
Hmm.
It's pretty close at the moment.
I'm just saying too, though,
Basic,
that all three we could have three champions. We could have three European champions all be from the
oh
Premier League.
yeah, 100%, yeah, and it wouldn't be a, a madness. Yeah,
It wouldn't
City
be a
winning
madness,
the
but it
Europa.
would be. It
Yeah,
would be a.
Liverpool
I
winning.
think that would
That's
be a
not bad.
first. Actually, that would definitely
Oh,
be
it
a
would be a
first. Not only
first
just for the
because
Premier League, but it'd be a first for like Europe
well,
in general.
the conference is a
It's a
new
new. Yeah,
competition, so it
sure.
would be, but it would be. Uh, but like I'm saying, to have all, yeah, but you couldn't, you wouldn't like back. It wouldn't be like a mad bet to say City win the Champions League, Liverpool win the Europa League, and Villa win the Conference League. Like that's not a stupid bet.
Yeah. No, it's not. It's
You
not at
know,
all.
that's pretty
It's
decent. Like
not.
you know, that
I think it's. I want
yeah.
to say it's five. It's. I think it's 5-1 right now, or something like that. Bets are weird. Like bets are weird. I mean, like I'm not advocating people
So
to
it's not
go
a
wager
crazy
or put a
notion.
bet out there. I'm just saying bets are weird because like when bets are affected, the bets are affected by bookies trying or but the bookmakers trying to make it where it's an incentive for you to spend money. It's also the number of the percentage is affected by how much money is actually being placed on a certain team. So that kind of like factors in and everything else. But
Oh yeah, don't gamble
yeah.
unless you completely understand everything that
Yeah,
goes. Yeah, just
I
don't
would
gamble.
not advise. I would
But
not
look,
advocate
no,
or
neither of us like
yeah,
Real Madrid, but
I don't.
the potential is there. Is what I'm saying. The potential is there
Mhm.
for it to be three English men. But imagine if basically the team that won the FA Cup final was Nottingham Forest, and the team that won the League Cup final was Wolves, and they
Mhm.
hadn't qualified for Europe through the
Right.
traditional ways. They would also still
Mhm.
qualify. So then you have potential of 6, 7 teams ending up
Yeah,
in Europe
in
from
Europe.
England.
Yeah. Hmm. But
But
I mean, as much as you might say it, I mean, it's rightfully so. I mean, like this, I wouldn't think it's unfair that the Premier
no,
League's
and
getting
begrudging
advantage.
at
No,
all.
these teams, yeah, it means that these teams have earned the right to be there. So I'd be okay with it.
No, it's
Excuse
great
me.
to see random in those competitions.
Sure.
You don't want to see
Absolutely.
Bayern,
Absolutely. It's
City,
a happy
Real.
day today. Look at us spreading the sunshine for
Yeah,
all the teams. All the same. All right. So it's been fun, guys. I'm gonna I see the runway in front of us. So I'm gonna be the landing gear is down,
no
so I'm gonna be
problem.
touching the live bird down here.
Seatbelts on.
Seatbelts on. That's right. Trays in their upright positions, please, because we're going to land it. So you can go on to your final destinations. If this isn't your final destination now,
Wake
all
up,
the
Grandma.
same, I'm appreciating that you are flying with us as always. My Reds. Brian, do you want to say something to the people before we bounce, though?
Just wake up, Grandma, before we land. You know, get everyone ready.
Get everyone ready.
Yeah,
Get
stow
everyone
your
ready.
overhead luggage.
Be aware that some luggage might have shifted
No,
during travel during our
but
travels
just I
because
know everyone has like it, subscribe to it, and
please
comment on it,
please
and
please
we're only we're only like a day away. So put your thing in the comments. Put your
Yes,
predictions for the Man United score in the comments.
yes.
So then we have a
We'll be
record
doing a
of.
preview tomorrow. We'll be doing a preview tomorrow
Yeah.
because
So comment tonight.
the
Comment tonight.
game is the game. So normally the game is kind of early for me. It's like I think at like 8:30 in the morning or something like that. So and I have been requested to go to the Boozer by the supporter club. I've been asked that I better be front and center, basically, is what I was told. What it was suggested. So I'm gonna make it that I show up and definitely represent the Mighty Reds here, Mighty Reds Army here, and properly root on our. I'll try to take some pictures or some videos and share with you guys some of the like ins and outs of what I experienced at my supporter boozer. But it should be a fun time. I suggest that everyone, please do take care of yourselves so that you can take care of your loved ones. It's important. So please do take care of yourselves and be sure to reach out and take care of your loved ones in your lives so that you can continue to hold on to what we know as life in itself, because it's very fragile. It's very precious, and each one of you are important to us as a top priority in our lives, in my life at least. And I speak for Brian. I believe I can say that as well. You guys are all important, and I wish you guys the best, and I hope that you are all well, and I hope that you guys join us tomorrow. So be sure to send this link out to other people. Be sure to share, comment, get those comments in, get those pre-predictions. We'll talk about it in the preview tomorrow, 7 p.m. UK time tomorrow is going to be the broadcast. As always, if the time on the clock says 7 or 1900, whichever you go by, it means you definitely need to be tuning in to the Liberal 12th Band Show. Appreciate every one of you guys. But until tomorrow, guys, I will see you soon. All right, take care.